Hey guys, Jay-Sensei here again. This is going to be what if every Z fighter had their potential unlocked. Now, in this one, the story begins on Namek. In this what if when Pronga is first summoned, the two original wishes to revive Piccolo and bring him to Namek are granted. The third wish that's about to be wasted. When Vegeta demands Dende make him immortal, Dende says, "Alright, I'll do it." Krillin and Gohan panic, thinking Dende's actually going to do it. When Dende spoke to Namekian, instead, he actually made a wish. Unlock everyone's potential so they can fight Frieza. Now, Purunga just heard everyone, so he did everyone willing to fight against Frieza. So with this, Dende, Krillin, Gohan, Piccolo, Goku, and Vegeta all have their potential unlocked. Now, I included the possible amp that Shenron gave Piccolo and Gohan, but I kind of dumbed it down so they'd still stay within Dragon Ball Z and not Super for the moment. Now, excuse me, I'm gonna go over how strong everyone is. Excuse me, Dende is the weakest, currently with power level of currently around Ginyu's level. He's around Ginyu level, so it's not bad, but not enough to fight Frieza. Krillin is currently rivaling 50% of Frieza's power. Gohan had surpassed Super Saiyan Goku in base, and he has sparks of the Super Saiyan aura. Like, if he powers up, you can see slight electric crackles. Piccolo, while fused with Nail, is around base perfect cell level. And Vegeta is around full power base cell in base, but he has no sparks of Super Saiyan. And Goku is around, I'm thinking of his buff perfect cell, but I think other places call that power weighted perfect cell. But I'm calling him buff perfect cell. But Goku also has sparks of Super Saiyan, but he's still in the healing pod, so. Vegeta felt the power amp and just smirked. When Frieza arrived, he thought Vegeta would be willing to roll over and take a beating or give him Dragon Balls. To his shock, he's punched right in the face and sent flying into a rock formation nearby. Frieza rubbed his jaw, realizing it was broken. He didn't even try to say anything or do anything, only to be met with an elbow to the ribs, full force. Frieza kept trying to escape, but Vegeta kept wailing on him. Even when Frieza transformed, Vegeta would let him and continued to give him even worse beatings. The more powerful he got, the worse Vegeta hit him. By the time he's in his final form, Vegeta charged to a Gallic gun and slammed it right into Frieza, erasing him. So in this one, he killed Frieza himself. But he still wasn't immortal, so out of pure fury and kind of pettiness, he was ready to kill Krillin and Gohan. Now, when he did fight them, or tried to, he's confronted by Piccolo, who is relatively close in power, but not exactly there yet. It's close, but not all the way. Vegeta did have a slight edge, but Piccolo's skill was definitely superior, and that allowed him to actually push back Vegeta until Goku arrived. Now, Vegeta assumed that he'd have enough power to beat Goku as he can't sense ki, but immediately he's met with an uppercut to the ribs that made him cough up blood. Then Goku would rotate right into a kick, sending Vegeta flying into the same rock formation that Frieza crashed into, finishing off the formation. Vegeta was laid out on the ground, and eventually everyone was going to leave, because King Namek isn't going to be destroyed. And Elder Mori is made the new Guru. So with this, Kami on Earth would revive all the dead Namekians. Like, that's what he does. And, what else? Vegeta came to Earth since Goku showed off power that Vegeta was so sure he was Super Saiyan. And that power is honestly just his base form. He doesn't know that they're unlocking it, they're close to it, but yeah. Now, Goku gets in his own ship, and Vegeta goes with him to train, and Gohan actually goes with him because he misses his dad. So yeah, so they all go in their own ships. Bulma, Krillin, Piccolo, and Dende all head to Earth. Because where Dende goes, older Moro could feel the power that Dende got, and somebody just told him, You'll be greater than than Guru or the Grand Elder. Head to Earth and give them that wisdom or that power or hope. So Dende's going with them. On Goku's ship, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan all train. Well, on the way back one day, Goku finally went Super Saiyan. This means him and Vegeta were kind of going blow for blow and colliding. Then Goku cleared his ki, and immediately, in Super Saiyan, it broke the ship. It sent them crashing down onto Yardrat, all three of them. Now we're going to go on to Earth. On Earth, Dende does voice Kami, but Kami's a future Piccolo. Not just yet. Instead, he's busy tutoring Dende, teaching him. Dende would use his new power after a bit to create new Dragon Balls. And he still used Shenron, but his power was a bit stronger. But in fact, he was so strong now, there was only one Dragon Ball. Not three, just one. And when Dende wanted to touch it, it just shot across the sky, and everyone had his face palm that they'd have to track down that one Dragon Ball. Once Bulma found it, though, she did use it to revive Yamato, Tien, and Chaozu, and was so strong it only took one wish. Eventually, King Kaiosha told everyone why Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan hadn't arrived yet when Yamcha was like, "Wait, where's Goku?" And King Kai would chime in saying, "Goku got traded in Yardrat." And, yeah. Jichichi immediately screamed at Shenron to bring them back, mainly Gohan, but immediately Shenron just says, no, they do not wish to return. She's like, what about Gohan? Shenron's like, he especially is grown accustomed to what they're doing there. He explains what they're doing on Yardrat. And Piccolo over here just like kind of grumbled like angrily in the corner, just said, I knew I should have gone with them. And just pouts. Second wish upgrades and repairs the ship that Goku and Vegeta and Gohan all took since it's broken. And the third wish is just, well, then they thought of it saying, well, I just had the knowledge of you and Guru. It's like the Kami said, bestow me with the knowledge of Guru and Kami. And then they gets the knowledge. But now, we go into about a year later where actually Vegeta had returned. He used the ship. You're wondering why he returned so early. He has no interest in spirit control at this point. At this point, he only needed to unlock Super Saiyan, and once he did, he returned. At this point, he had surpassed basically every version of canonical Cell. And especially in base form, he did. But then, the next year passes, and then Goku and Gohan had both unlocked Super Saiyan at this point, and Goku had learned instant transmission. But Gohan had learned cloning. He also did study a lot on Yardrat. Paibara and him did get along for shared educational values. And Goku and Gohan returned to Earth. Trunks is waiting. Now, Chi-Chi was about to be angry until she saw Gohan return with books, which kind of made her smile. Now, with King Cold, Trunks kind of just blasted them. Now, this Trunks, and this one, let's say this is the canonical Dragon Ball timeline, but Trunks is moving on his way to this timeline, or time period, and disturbed it, causing this small shift in power, or large shift. But Trunks doesn't realize how strong the Dragon Ball group has gotten. But we go into 3 years of training later. But 1 year into the training, we have the Cooler movie. Everyone's fishing, well, everyone is Goku, Gohan, and Krillin, who are kind of just fishing and eating. As they're kind of just camping, basically. They're attacked by Coolers. Let me pressure corping of the Cooler Force, basically. Gohan's about to be attacked by them, or knocked out. Immediately he's on guard, jumped around and basically blasted all of them to pieces in just one go. Not pieces, kind of blasted all of them. And he created clones just to give himself an advantage. While Krillin powered up, even buffing up a little bit when he powered up, which is just showing how strong he got. That's just kind of a natural side effect for him now. We charge up one Kamehameha and fire it right at the group. But immediately as he did that, he's met by a full power of Cooler, and he's punched right in the jaw and sent flying back. But Cooler's shock, Krillin had blocked it. His hand broke, he could feel it, and it was kind of obvious, but he blocked it nonetheless. Cooler would laugh, saying, wow, you guys are strong, no wonder you guys killed Frieza. Then would Gohan and said, let me guess, you're the one who did it. Just say it. Gohan said, no, I'm not, it was Vegeta. But I give up, I know I can beat Frieza myself, I know I can beat you. He flew up and was Super Saiyan himself, which did surprise Cooler, and then he's met with the meanest combo ever. By the time Goku returned, Cooler and his entire team are all laid out on the floor, or I guess on the shore, and Krillin was the one who had to make sure they didn't get back up. But Cooler was beaten up by Gohan, and then this thing kind of just cuts to black as Krillin was out with Ki Blast towards the knocked out group. Or, since Vegeta's here at this point, maybe he deals with them. It's a possibility. So yeah, Vegeta or Krillin deals with Cooler's group. But also, I have an idea. So let's say Vegeta tries and they escape. Now, training resumes, and the ritual is actually performed on Tien, Yamcha, and Chaozu. They did wait a little bit longer so that they could actually get, like, physically more powerful. But about I feel like let's say 5 months before we get into when they first meet, entering 19 and 20, they meet Shin Kibito. Shin Kibito had arrived on the lookout while everyone was training. People had been training with Dende just to make sure his body is accustomed to his new power and it's not being wasted. And then we see Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta flying around as he's clashing repeatedly over and over again. Now, Shin Kibito arrived, questioning, who are they? And they talk about who they are, because it's Goku and Vegeta. And immediately Kibito and Shin kind of realize, oh, that's Prince Vegeta and another Saiyan. He's like, oh, I didn't realize him this Saiyan thing is good if you get this strong. And then they would never be knowing what Supreme Kais are, because of the group. So I would tell them, he's a spectacle who tells them, what Goku and Vegeta are all about, what happened on Namek, all that. Like, the potential got unlocked, and now they're this strong. And then they went over how they're making a few other members of their group train so they can have the same ritual done, because they're very far behind. Shin and Vegeta talk, and actually this is where they bring up Kid Buu, or Majin Buu, early on. They also do offer to train them, but Goku said they have very important things coming up soon, as did Dende and Piccolo, so they all have to decline, but let's go to the offer if they need anything. Shin would just bow, and then he teleports away with Kibito. Or Kibito, but yeah. And then we go on to how strong everyone is. Now, Goku. From the base, he's relative to Battle of Gods' Fat Buu. So he's relative to that version, who I believe is either around Kid Buu level or a bit below that. But probably not Super Buu level. But Goku's relative to that base version of it. In Super Saiyan, he'll even surpass Kid Buu, plus he has Super Saiyan 2 already. As for Vegeta, he's relative to Evil Buu, he has Super Saiyan, and he had surpassed Kid Buu as well, in Super Saiyan that is. Gohan is around buff Perfect Cell level, and he has Super Saiyan 1 and 2, and he had surpassed Kid Buu as well. Piccolo is actually relative to Kid Buu. Tien, once he gets the ritual, is around base Perfect Cell, Krillin's around suppressed Perfect Cell, so Tien had surpassed Krillin. And Yamcha and Chaozu are both around semi-perfect cell level, so that's their base, is semi-perfect cell. And Dende is actually around Frieza level, so that's actually pretty good for him. I'm talking about, like, final form Frieza. Alright. And this is when Yamcha finds 19 and 20. Well, here's a change. Jiro did not really anticipate how strong this group was. Jiro only has the canon knowledge, so 16 and 17 are as strong as they are, well, 16, 17, 18 are strong as they are in canon at this point. So that's kind of just a very big change here. So with this, when Yamcha would find 19 and 20, when Jiro tries to actually impale Yamcha, well, Jiro realized he had an after image. He's met with an elbow to the neck, and he sent flying to the ground, while then 19 and him began fighting. He tried to his ki, but then the way that Vegeta killed 19, Yamcha does instead. And Yamcha kind of laughed doing so. It's kind of easy to him. But Goku still have a heart attack, and Dende actually heals him pretty easily, actually. But Goku doesn't need to rest, so his body can fully recover, and his power can recover as well. And they get to Jiro's lab, and 17 and 18 get released right as Trunks arrives. Androids are a bit stronger, and Jiro didn't really anticipate the power, as I said before. So with this one, when everyone arrived, well, Tien alone can beat the androids, like both of them. 16 would be a bit of trouble because his self-destruct would probably damage Tien or kill him. Give him Chaozu, and then he'll win. Or Chaozu alone can also handle 17 and 18. 16 is just the only issue because his self-destruct. But eventually Vegeta does succeed in the fight 18, but he's only sticking to base form. And it's a pretty simple fight to him. It's not really a hard fight. He's much stronger than she is. And then with Trunks, when he arrives, he fights 17, and then everyone jumps in, but Krillin is kind of just watching this. He didn't really have a place to jump in this. He's not the weakest, but everyone here is going at it in a way that he should not get involved. He just can feel that. But he's also kind of focused on 18 and Vegeta. But meanwhile, Piccolo actually isn't here, but he's on there with Kami and Dende, just talking. But eventually, Kami does Piccolo. He's noticed his change after being with Dende for so long, and that Kami simply just says he has nothing to do here anymore. Plus, he's fading. You can feel it, because he's not Kami anymore. So he held his hand, and then Piccolo shake it, and then he fuses into Piccolo, giving him both the fusion. Now Piccolo's on level of current Super Saiyan Goku with Kami's fusion. I'm talking about current, not canon for this arc. But eventually Future Cell does still arrive, but by this point the androids were all just kind of beaten up and taken in, or taken away. And Piccolo still arrives to fight Future Cell, with Piccolo actually easily winning. Cell did actually realize this and try to blind him with Solar Flare, which did work, temporarily. Piccolo would jump in, still trying to charge him though, so you can still sense him, but Cell actually stopped Piccolo in his track by stabbing his tail into his foot, and draining his ki from that. But Piccolo would land an uppercut into this and Cell flying away, and it even yanked Cell's tail from his foot. As for Vegeta, his arm isn't broken, but there's a bruise on it, like a very big one, so that's healed by Dende. And even though Vegeta, he didn't lose, but he still felt like he needed to train. He felt the fight was too close for his comfort. In reality, it wasn't, but he was getting a little cocky, and his arm almost got shattered. But also, Trunks is dragging him down. Like, as he thinks about this, he's like, also, you, future boy, you're dragging us down. And Trunks was surprised, and Vegeta had said, Even the little mind thing is stronger than your Super Saiyan form. You're a disappointment. Trunks was surprised until Vegeta walked over, grabbed him by the collar, and dragged him away into the time chamber. But he actually told Gohan come with him. Now, Goku wanted to join in, but immediately Dende would just say no, as his power levels had not recovered. His body may have, but he's still getting a bit back to full power. He may not be tired, but he's still definitely not at full ability. Now, in the time chamber, within about 15 minutes, Gohan and his clones, plus, Gohan until Super Saiyan, into Super Saiyan 2, had pushed Vegeta to unlock it for himself. Now, Piccolo does meet 16, 17, 18, and they were being watched by Tien, so he didn't really, they knew what they were. Then Tien would still attack him, but Piccolo would knock him out with a single punch. His very swift uppercut to the ribs had knocked him out. But soon 17 fell. We see Cell charge in. As soon as 17 fell, Cell jumps in and snags 17, absorbing him immediately. Only from semi-perfect Cell form. Piccolo would fire off a Ki Blast immediately, charging up the cannon, but with just one arm. It was not that hard for him to do. He learned to do this. Now, Cell immediately was hit by it, he kept flying back. But he kept trying to fight back against Piccolo, but Piccolo's pretty easily, avoiding him. Or just dodging, or just landing hits. There's a battle of his ki some more, until seeing him on his tail, jumping in, at point blank range, and Kikoho hits him right in the face. Cell would be flying back, and his body is slowly regenerating. At this point, Tien is relative to him, but even then, it does not matter. Tien still has a slight edge over him. You guys may think how? How does Tien have an edge? Cell has little to no battle experience. Tien can take advantage of that. He has key techniques, that's what Cell has. That's about it. Tien's faster, a little bit stronger, and the only thing he can't really do is just regenerate. And in terms of durability, him and Cell are about par. Now, eventually, Yamcha and Chaozu do jump in the fight, and they're pretty easily able to actually fend off Cell. In fact, even 18 and 16 jump in, helping to beat up Cell. But Cell has an idea, and he pulls a card out of Frieza's book. As he's on the ground, he tries to beg for mercy, and grabbing on Piccolo's leg, begging for mercy. Piccolo's really stomping his head, but when he puts his hand on the ground, an island would detonate. The blast was seen for miles. But as soon as everyone sent flying, immediately Cell would jump in, and he absorbed 18. soon as he absorbed her, he shot down over Piccolo, then Yamcha, then Chaozu. While Tien was left at the bottom of the ocean. 16 had kind of covered him. No perfect Cell, no one can really tell how strong he is now. Excuse me. Pause real quick. Sorry about that. But with this, once everyone had, once 16 and 17 had, or 16 and 10 fled the rubble, 16 was a little bit beaten up, so Bulma took it on herself to repair him. And she also took the chance to also reprogram him too. But Goku, feeling a bit left out from Gohan and Vegeta and Trunks' training, as they've only been like maybe an hour maximum. Keshi would grab him, then they asking him to contact Shinobito, as he wants to train with them. Because, well, he feels left out. And they agrees, and he does realize that Goku's at full power now. Plus, even if he wasn't, it's safer than training in the time chamber. Really quick, just kind of tell about the message. Shinobito arrive, and they willingly take away Goku. After a few hours, maybe about an afternoon or so like 3-ish hours, 4 maybe, Vegeta, Trunks, and Gohan emerge from the time chamber, and they go try to fight Cell. And in base, Vegeta, his power is unknown, as is Gohan. And Trunks, well, at this point, I would probably compare him to like the base Gotenks. I'd compare him to that. But he's Super Saiyan 1 and 2. But Vegeta, still being arrogant, he ends up wanting to fight Cell alone. But we're going to go to Goku, who's trying with the Z-Sword. Shooting something about the Kachin, and Goku did cut it in half with that slice, but also shredded the Z-Sword. Vegeta over to yell at him, till Goku from his head, and notice Elder Kai, pointing him out. Vegeta were surprised, and then we pause. At least on this part. Or this part of the story. But now we go on to Cell versus Vegeta. Now, Cell does show off Super Cell immediately, actually. And in fact, his body gets a golden hue to it, not just an aura, his body turns like golden as he's entering Super Saiyan. But he still calls it Super Cell. And as he fights, he slowly adapts to the depths of Vegeta, surpassing him, but barely surpassing him. Vegeta's still landing the majority of hits. Even Cell does land hits, it does do damage, obviously does. Vegeta flinches, all that. But Cell cannot land as many hits as Vegeta can. Vegeta's faster, he's more durable. The only thing Cell has on him is regeneration. That's it. Now Trunks and Gohan see this trying to jump in the fight. But Vegeta would immediately make his own clones. As he learned that in the time chamber, he learned spirit control, finally. Goku jump out, and both of them land one good uppercut to Gohan and Trunks' ribs, sending them flying back. And with this, him and Cell continue to fight, both at their full powers, or at least at Vegeta's full power in Super Saiyan, or Cell kind of at his overall full power. Then Vegeta went Super Saiyan 2, and he began pushing Cell back even more. So with this, Cell began pushing himself even further, and his adaptation reached its maximum limit as he entered his own Super Saiyan 2. But its limit for now. Now Vegeta was kind of surprised at this, but as soon as Cell had to punch him in the face and slap him back a bit, he had blinked. But for the moment he blinked, Cell had pinned down Trunks and had his tail right against his head, threatening to basically kind of just turn Trunks' head into a crushed watermelon. If you could get what I'm saying. And he says, he suggests the Cell games. And just here and now, Vegeta doesn't think about accepting. He actually realized who Trunks was. Vegeta's been so caught up in training, he didn't realize it earlier. This is his son. And he could tell, right as he looked at Trunks, who was very nervous to be in this predicament. Vegeta took one gulp, and just nodded, saying, "Fine. Cell games are accepted." Cell kicked over Trunks and Vegeta, and she would catch him with one arm. Now for the training. Goku returned after hearing of Elder Kai's offer, and those who want it are Gohan, Trunks, Krillin, and Tien. But they don't have time for the ritual to be performed on all of them, or at least not sufficient training time. So Bulma had an idea. Well, two ideas. Put them in the time chamber, or make them young. With this, Bulma and multiple Gohan clones, along with Vegeta clones, all search for the Dragon Balls, or Dragon Ball, and they quickly find it. As Dragon Ball only takes about 2-ish months to thaw out, so, or to depetrify. But they find the one lone, very large ball that's like the size of like, it's not like Super Dragon Ball size, but they're definitely bigger than the average person. So they fly over the lookout, they summon Shenron, and Shenron in all his giant glory would arrive. And it kind of just said, bring blank, 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 and blank to the Kaioken realm, and it worked. Well, the second wish is to restore all residents of the Kaioken realm to their prime. And it worked. His Elder Kai, well, he doesn't want to call Elder Kai anymore, but it's kind of the only other name he could have. He doesn't have anything else. No Shin, no Libido, just Elder Kai. But he's in his prime now, so he doesn't really mind. But Shin and Libido are also affected by this ritual, or this wish. Their bodies began changing to enhance their power. It pushed their magic utilization to its absolute limits. It pushed their power levels to their limits, but to their current prime, I guess. When the third wish, for those who are staying on Earth, is to upgrade the time chamber to its maximum power. Well, then it's also using like his free hand, was also a Shenron kind of, to upgrade the time chamber himself. So with this, everything is granted. Now, the ritual for those four took maybe around 10 hours maximum, and the biggest issue was just Gohan. That was about it. The only issue was Gohan. While on Earth, Goku, Vegeta, and even Dende trained in the time chamber. After about 3 days, Vegeta has the idea to fully master spirit control, especially for someone like Dende who knows a bit of it. Goku had the idea, after heard the idea, and teleported it to Yardrat, and he began talking to Barbara, who understood the reason she came to Earth. So, with that, him and Goku both teleport to the lookout, and when they arrive, they train the time chamber for 3 more days. Barbara would train Goku, Vegeta, and Dende in the time chamber. Everyone else would also step in occasionally just to get in some teachings, but they don't really master it, they learn like the basics of it. They don't learn any techniques, they should know it now. But yeah. So after 6 days, they spend about 1 day recovering. Beginning 16 free program by Bulma, and Vegeta would train with him a little bit, just get him on the up and up. Gohan, Trunks, Tien, and Krillin all gain ultimate forms, and eventually, Gohan, Trunks, Tien, and Krillin gain the ultimate forms, and Gohan and Trunks actually gain like the actual ultimate form, where there's just like a small spike up in the hair and then a very white aura. Krillin achieves max power Krillin, basically kind of being like Roshi, but a lot more powerful. Plus his ki actually his ki kind of just turns golden, not like the yellow of like Super Saiyan. No, like his ki is actually like golden. So it kind of just shows like a golden Buddha basically. And the Dawson's head also kind of glow gold a little bit. Tien doesn't really name his power, he just says, potential unlocked Tien, I guess. So we wouldn't be fighting Cell and not naming our techniques. Everyone kind of just shrugged. But the 6 days that Goku, Vegeta, and Dende and Paibara, or Goku, Vegeta, and Dende, then 3 days of Paibara spent training, in the 6 days total, they spent training with each other at their full power. Gohan's still a kid, by the way. He just has ultimate early. He still looks like a kid. He only spent a few hours with Vegeta, so maximum like a few months, maybe like an inch or two. But eventually, for 3 more days, probably 3 more hours, the group would train with Vegeta and Goku in the time chamber. And with this, as everyone trains in the time chamber for let's say another day. So 7 days spent total in the time chamber. Everyone would eventually get out, and Goku does look a bit older with a beard even, and same for Vegeta. Dende actually looks like a grown up. John just looks like Piccolo, but nicer. Once everyone had emerged, eventually Goku and Vegeta do shave a bit, and they actually do realize they might have to make a wish to show their youth, at some point. But for now, they'll use this power to fight against Cell. But by the end of all the training, Goku had unlocked Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3, so he has all of it, and mastered Spirit Control. Gohan has his ultimate, and he had mastered cloning. Vegeta has Super Saiyan 1, 2, and mastered Spirit Control, and he's on the verge of 3. Or he might even have it, just not care to use it. Trunks has ultimate in the basis of cloning, and in base, he's roughly around the level of like, I would say one of the Boos, maybe like Fat Boo. But he has ultimate in the basis of cloning, as he learned that from Gohan. Ron and Tien in their base forms are around Fat Boo, and then in their full power form, they're around ultimate or max power forms, they're around Kid Boo level. Dende himself is around around Super Boo, and Elder Kai himself actually got stronger at around Fat Boo. So yeah, now Elder Kai alone is actually around Boo level. Now we go on to how the other two Kais were affected, as Shin had a whole new transformation. His body was changed. And the transformation that he has is called Shibito. This man changed since he was already at somewhat of a peak. His body had to change to unlock a new peak. He became a fusion. As Shenron basically did what he could to make sure Shibito hit a new peak. While Kibito, he wasn't even anywhere near his peak, so he was forced into it. Only thing it did is that he looked a bit younger and a bit stockier. With Shibito, his power level is roughly around Canon Super Perfect Cell, and then Kibito's around Imperfect Cell level. So, yeah. So I don't think he was in around Shin's level, and Shin was stronger than Frieza, but probably not by a lot. And I'd say Kibito probably couldn't have handled Frieza either. But now he can. So, yeah. So yeah. Now, Kibito and Elder Kai are watching the fights, and when Meshte in school try to fight against Cell, Kibito immediately just summons up like a giant wall, he creates a giant wall in front of them and tells them to screw off. And Kibito would even reinforce that by flaring his ki and scaring them away. So they don't even get a chance to get near Cell, and no one knows they were even there. All I know is that these two guys can create anything out of nowhere, seemingly. Now, when Goku fought Cell first, and Goku pretended to be relative to Cell, but they all know one thing. In base, he had surpassed Cell, easily. Or at least, he surpassed base Cell. So in Super Cell, or Super Saiyan Cell, and Goku powered up a little bit, but not much, and was able to push back Cell even more. Cell even went into Super Saiyan 2, still not doing much. As Goku can go Super Saiyan 1, and he powered this version of Cell. But everyone knows they want to see Ultimate Gohan. They can tell how strong he's gotten. Even Vegeta wants his own fight, just knows he wants to see Gohan fight. Well, this Goku just actually falls to his knees, holding his chest, pretending his chest pains came back. And he'd win an Oscar for how much he wins everyone, or at least Cell. He goes out of bounds, and lets Gohan take over. Gohan still looks like a kid, would go into Ultimate, and in one blast, Cell's body is nearly vaporized. I'm talking about entirely. Now, Cell would react to this, trying to heal as fast as he can. Then he's mad using the black handle from above by 16, and his body's crushed into the ring. He's being jumped. Cell, partially recovered, would create as many Cell Juniors as he could, but Vegeta would smirk and create double that many. But they already begin jumping onto the clones, or Cell Juniors jumping off or flying off to the sky, and then detonating themselves. And Vegeta just says, Cell stood no chance. They all surpassed him, or at least most of them did. At this point, Cell, according to Shibito and Kibito, are roughly around, I would say, probably not stronger than like Buuhan, but he's getting there. Well, at this point, everyone else, aside from like the humans and Trunks, had surpassed that. So basically, just Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo had surpassed Buuhan already. People don't say Buhan, but to pass Buu. There's really a high bar everyone there has, but Buhan is what I'm saying to be specific. Yeah. Now, so realizes he was losing and tried to escape, but only tried to fly off and escape. He even tried to blow up the planet, and trying to be petty like how Frieza was. But he doesn't even have Frieza DNA. He just has a very shitty mindset. Go from above, go home and land on his back with just a very firm, just kind of just descends from the sky very quickly with his feet first and slams himself back. To sell his pain, he's put in a Boston Crab and is just held there. Vegeta and Goku create a few clones, and they yell, two-way Force Spirit Fission. And almost instantaneously with the clones, 17, 18, Piccolo, Yamcha, and Chaozu all split apart from Cell along with all the humans he had absorbed. Dende, who's just here watching, would just wave his hand and hypnosis took over all the humans. So they don't really know what's going on here. But Cell, as he's trying to cover, flew off once more, but everyone's watching him fly away. It's kind of just pathetic. As Cell's trying to find some people to absorb, everyone sees Dende hold out one arm, and then electricity sparkles. Then a yellowish-purple aura. A blast flies out from Dende's arm. Looks like Special Beam Cannon would mix with a whole other technique. And Dende calls it Special Light Bullet. It's not in the Cell, and all he sees is his body reduced to ash. As soon as it hit the ground, Dende would walk over and just blow the ash away. Now, before Trunks leaves, everyone went into the not Z Fighters. They all went into the time chamber. Almost said Trunks went into the Z Fighters. They all went into the guard chamber. Except for Gohan. Chi-Chi made him stop because he's getting older and he would have. He's maybe a year older maximum. He's a little bit taller. That's about it. Barely taller, but maybe a few inches, 3 inches maximum. But once everyone finished up their own time chamber training, maybe a day in time chamber, even the Kais get in there and train a little bit. Shibito in the time chamber where she teach Trunks Kai, just actually tell him where to find his future counterpart and how to get there. Trunks barely understood how to use it, but he could use it briefly. Goku, Vegeta, and Dende learn that same level of it as well, so barely able to use it, but they can. But we're going to go to the future now. Trunks arrived, and when he fought 17-18, he went Super Saiyan 1, and with two very quick slashes of the sword, their heads are off their bodies. He can put the sword back on, and then disperse his aura, or his Super Saiyan aura. And with Kai right in front of Shinkabito. Shinkabito actually wondering who he is, even demanding to tell him who he is. But he has something more important to do. He just stormed right over to the Z-Sword, picked it up, and snapped it in half with his bare hands. Shinkabito are about to yell at him until they see Elder Kai fly out, and then he begins talking to all of them now that all the Kais are there. As they talk, he explains everything to them. It was everything to them. Shinkabito understand, and Elder Kai's kind of shocked, but he also actually yell at him about time traveling. She actually just tells them what he's planning on doing about the world now. And Shinkabito actually shouldn't have this idea of how about I just use my magic visualization to repair a lot of the buildings, and then you can just use the Dragon Balls and new Namek, as you said you were going to go there first, and use the Dragon Balls there to enhance it. And go on. Trunks said okay. So Trunks ends up teleporting to Namek using Kai, and Kibito's there with him. Elder Kai comes sitting down reading new magazines. But after about a day, Shin tells Trunks it's all done. Now Trunks, at this point, he had summoned Porunga, and he would bring out the potential of Dende, upgrade Earth, and then unlock the potential of all the Kais, or the Kaioshin. You guys wondering why he didn't bring back the Z Fighters of his timeline? Because he already knows Porunga is not going to be strong enough to do that. He needs a Dende. Dende's not surprised, and Trunks just tells him, alright, enough, follow me. Kai to Earth, Dende's on the lookout, and he creates the Dragon Balls. Trunks is going to realize how he probably might need them to be stronger, so he just trains with Dende in the time chamber for a while. Even Shinobito jump in to make, or Shibito and Kibito jump in to make it stronger, or to make it more effective. You know, they all do alternate from time to time because Dende isn't really calming. He's just a dragon Namekian. Well, let's all have the return Dende in the time chamber for a total of maybe 4 days. So Trunks is maybe a year older maximum. Maybe a year and a half. And they're strong enough, upgraded to Shenron, and then he basically revived all the Z Fighters with a Shenron. With this, once Z Fighters come back, Kami had to come back to Lookout, and the Dragon Balls thawed out. So now they have 2 sets of Dragon Balls. But Trunks explained everything to them, and they all decided to do what Trunks had told them. And they would use the extra wish from the remaining wish from Shenron to revive all the humans that died under the Android's attack, which worked. The third wish unlocked the Z Fighters or the Z Warriors' potential, and it worked. If that happened, Elder Kai would also do his ritual on a few of them, and then Trunks would now train in the future. But he also has cargo. This is wondering why. Simply because he feels like Dende, should he ever need to actually be a fighter, having someone strong to fuse into would be beneficial. So cargo is basically there as a backup power source for Dende. But also he's Piccolo's student in this one. Now, Elder Kai, having been made useful at some point, would unlock the potential of Dende and Cargo. So now in this one, Dende is going to be the first orange Namekian, then Cargo probably second. So, yeah. Now, we're going to go on back to the past, and we're going to go to the Otherworld Saga. This one, Yamcha and Chaozu felt out of place among their friends. They were just too weak in their opinion. They realized that they were stronger, or they'd be stronger if they were dead again. After bringing them up their kind of insecurity to Dende, they actually decided they want to relinquish their life. Not like they want to relinquish their living bodies, basically, and go back to Otherworld and train. It's not like they want to die. They're like, we want our other bodies back. We find those more fun. But Dende, using his magic, would pretty quickly be able to basically relinquish their body. Their bodies kind of just poof, and then there's a halo above each of their heads, and their bodies are a bit stronger, and they feel it. Now, King Yama allows them to come down, and then King Kai would eventually take them both back. Since Chaozu's quiet, and Yamcha is a pretty charismatic guy. Now, down in Otherworld, or in the lower realms of Otherworld, Yamcha and Chaozu, they're kind of walking around having fun. And they hear trouble had arisen. And immediately, once Paikon was about to be told to go deal with it. But Yamcha and Chaozu fly off at top speeds. Because at this point, they had surpassed Perfect Cell by a long shot. But, they kind of wanted to get on some action. They heard who it was getting involved of, trouble. So they wanted to get on some action and then it's on Namek. Unity Force were trying to start trouble as well, but when they turn around to see 2 people flying at them, Tetsu would kind of smile, like the usual weird smile, and Telepathy alone had actually taken out the Ginyu, making them all kind of just tense up and collapse. King Cold Frieza looked a bit concerned, until Yamcha had yelled Wolfang Fist and sent King Cold flying away. Frieza turned around, only for Yamcha to yell Kaioken, Tetsu did as well, and they basically just tagged Team Frieza maliciously. Pause. Okay. So now eventually, with this Cell, he would arrive to, fight. But he sees them both, and quickly kind of begins to backpedal. This is just perfect Cell. Not the Cell that absorbed Piccolo, Yamcha, and Tien, and Chaozu, just 17-18. He stands no chance with these two using Kaioken times 5. Actually, in fact, times 2 would allow them to beat him. But times 5 is overkill, they both use it, and Cell is basically beaten into oblivion. He's not killed, but he's definitely not coming back. He's too embarrassed. Pakan was surprised and kind of amused. Now, As they continue to train with King Kai, eventually we go on to the actual tournament. By this point, Yamcha and Chaozu with their undead bodies, plus their bodies actually usually becoming canon by like a lot stronger than Goku's body. Their limits for Kaioken are times 50 for Chaozu and times 60 for Yamcha. Yamcha and Chaozu to the tournament for King Kai, and then Z Fighters are shot by a watch, but then they're teleporting them all down there. In the tournament, Pikkon, Yamcha, and Chaozu easily dominate. Chaozu solidified his spot in the finals against a different opponent, but Yamcha had to defeat Pikkon. When the fight started, Pikkon tried to blitz Yamcha, but when he actually hit Yamcha, he realized it was an accurate image. He then kicked him in the ribs, and as he recoiled, Yamcha's other leg would spin, and it swept up Pikkon. Pikkon hit the ground, and then from above, Yamcha would turn up a one-handed Kamehameha, and plant it into the ring at full force. As soon as the light had dispersed, Pikkon's body was just like he's standing, but his body is like steaming. He wobbled briefly, and went in for like kind of a sloppy attack against Yamcha. Yamcha easily dodged, flipping over him, and as he flipped, one solid kick to the head had knocked out Pikkon mid-flip. Pikkon collapsed, and everyone was surprised that Yamcha beat Pikkon that easily. Well, not the Z Fighters, but everyone else in Otherworld is. So with this, Pikkon's taken out, and the final fight is Yamcha vs. Chaozu. And Yamcha narrowly won since Chaozu paralyzed him, and basically landing as many blows as he could while also using telepathy to hurt his mind. But Yamcha basically used Kaioken times 60, and when one well-placed punched, Chaozu gave up immediately. Nothing was broken, but he felt like everything shattered in his body. He felt like it did, so he quit. After panting, and then go Chaozu a jerk for such a rude way to beat him, or to try to at least. Chaozu lost the fight. Pause. Okay, sorry about that. But I go on to the 7-year timescape between Buu and now. Piccolo is currently strong as Z Fighter, as he has Orange Piccolo, Master Spirit Control at this point, and Mastery over Kai Kai. Now, Piccolo, in terms of base form, is roughly around Resurrection F full power Frieza, not Gold Frieza, like Resurrection F like final form. If we saw that at least. But then he has Orange Piccolo on top of that, plus he has Master Spirit Control, so he went to visit Paibara of his own accord after learning Kai Kai. Goku and Vegeta are next up, it's the strongest, and they're barely below Super Saiyan God Goku. Like the initial ritual one, not like later on in the story, like the initial ritual. But they also have Ozaru Wrath, both have Super Saiyan 1 through 3. They have Super Saiyan plus Ozaru Wrath, Mastery Spirit Control, and Kai Kai. Well, Gohan is just barely below them, but he hasn't had time to train as often as he does go to school. He's barely below them in base, but then he has Ultimate and Master Spirit Control. Now, he would be stronger with his Ultimate, but their Mastery with Super Saiyan 3 plus Ozaru Wrath be actually been pushing him back a little bit. So they're about par, but his base drags him down. He's seen 17 and 18 overall are roughly around the level of Super Vegeta. Krillin is a bit above Buhan, and Anton in his max power form, he's about on par with the androids, maybe a tad bit weaker. While Dende is barely above Super Vegeta, barely above him to the point where Krillin could give him a run for his money. Tien is out about Buhan, then at max power, about on par with base Vegeta. Yamcha and Shibito are roughly around Buu tanks. Tetsu and Kibito Shin, Super Buu. This Kibito Shin had actually evolved to a whole new form with the Dragon Balls. He felt he hit his plateau, and then he upgraded himself. Older Kai doesn't really train as often, but he's about on par with Shibito for being Buu tanks. Then goes in Trunks, bottom. Can go into or about base, like individually they're both around Buu's like a Gotenks level, so they're both around Gotenks level. And they also know no spirit control because Gohan trains them. Goten knows instant transmission and size control. Trunks knows cloning and instant transmission. So, yeah. And Roshi himself actually trains Goten and Trunks a bit as well alongside Gohan. And Vegeta trains them, like, they have a lot of teachers, but it's mainly Gohan and Roshi. Occasionally, they're actual fathers. Occasionally. Roshi would train with them. It's basically around actual Trunks level. So, yeah, like canonical Boot Saga Trunks. Now, Gohan still runs in high school, but due to how often he trains in the lookout with Dende or Piccolo, or hangs out with Ibara, or reads and talks with Shin Kibito, or just with Ibara again. He's completely smarter than everyone in his class to the point where he's on track to graduate early, which doesn't make Chi-Chi very happy. And he's usually allowed to train Goten as long as he gets him on that same track. Goten is actually allowed to train early on, even with his father around, because Goten has him on a track to be smarter than everyone around him and graduate early, just like his brother's doing. Because Gohan is grades ahead of where he should actually be. Now, for his personality, he's very similar to how he is in Dragon Ball Super. The fact of, like, the reason being, Goku's around, he's only some people train with every day. Nothing can really make him happy or just content. His life is fine. He's very similar with Trunks to how he is in, like, Dragon Ball Super. He's very much like that. So with this, he kind of chillaxes a bit, saying, like, Kakarot and then Namek, and I guess some others are a bit fun. Sometimes those deities. Now this does make him and Trunks a bit closer, and he's actually the one who taught Trunks Super Saiyan, while Gohan had taught him Super Saiyan 2. Goten learned Super Saiyan 2 from Goku, actually. As Gohan taught him Super Saiyan 1, it's kind of a very similar situation, kind of. Gohan is a great Saiyaman, but so is Goten, because Chi-Chi's okay with it. As long as he still keeps studying. They'll still finds out, and Gohan still mentors her, but he has experience, because he has proper mentorship training with Goten and Trunks. Occasionally Dende, but that's mainly Piccolo's job for Dende. He gave him a bit of knowledge of spirit control, that's about it, and Piccolo took over after that. 16 and 17 were work for Bulma, but they wanted to still work with animals, while 16 had to urge to stay loyal with Bulma. Bulma felt a bit bad, so she bought the animal reserve, and 16 and 17 worked there for her. So, yeah. 18 and Krillin live and train with Roshi, and Roshi has trained a lot there, but also Goten and Trunks. Or just in the Goten, but still. 18 also does part-time work for Bulma with 16 and 17, and she calls it family bonding, and she trains with them as well. As the androids are also strong. Right? Explain how strong they were. Which is barely above Super Vegeta, by the way. Now for the tournament. As the Dragon Team's famous, instead of the ones who stopped Cell, like they say didn't take credit for it, it was the Dragon Team. Goku's been alive the entire time on Earth. I find it possible he's been the one to win the prior tournaments. Because there's nothing better to do as have him train and fight in tournaments. So, with this, Yamcha and Chaozu in this one, by the way, they're kind of just they're not participating, they're kind of just watching. But everyone else is participating in the tournament as either winners or competitors, formerly. But we're going to how the tournament goes at first. So Videl's fight with Popovich is, well, she's still losing, kind of. As she's in kind of a hold with Popovich, and he's about to, break her body, she weakly brings her hand to her forehead, and for the first time, we use instant transmission, appearing right behind Popovich. He shot around, only for her to hit him in the jaw, full force with a key reinforced punch, and she sent flying clean out of the ring and into the ground, knocked out. She barely won, and is about to collapse, but the announcer catches her and says that she won. She raises her fist, very happy that she won, and when Satan's jaw is just on the floor that Videl won that fight. Now, Shibito and Kibito Shin, they're both handling Babidi, and Piccolo will go with them because he simply has nothing better to do here. He's not joining in another tournament. I got Yamcha Toucher just watching, so is he. And Dende. Now it comes to Dabura. If Piccolo was turned to stone, Kibito Shin can free him, or Shibito can, or they can both just kill Dabura and then free Piccolo. But Piccolo likely isn't turned into stone though, so when Dabura tries, he quickly just uses accurate image technique and then just turn him to ash with a Masenko. So, yeah. Then he got on quickly. As Shibito made his way aboard, before they can even blink, he would use an invisible eye blast, and they're both just torn to shreds by the invisible eye blast. Babidi kind of just froze seeing that. And, well, he's kind of just terrified. But he kind of feel bad about this, so using his ability to, using God of creation, I'd assume he can at least bring back life to some degree. But he does use a bit of the life force to bring them both back. He felt bad about killing them. Not Dabura, or Piccolo didn't feel bad about Dabura, but he felt bad about these two, who were just under Babidi's control. They both got back, they both knocked out once more. But Shibito would hold Babidi in place, as he actually would use telepathy to contact Elder Kai. And it was basically just a question, do you have a spell to release Majin seals? Elder Kai, basically reading a new magazine in the Kaoshin realm, would say, probably, why? Kibito Shin would say, Babidi. Shibito is the one talking, or not talking, he's the one holding Babidi back, Kibito Shin's the one asking. Kibito Shin says, Babidi. Elder Kai says, bring back some girly mags and I'll use them. Doshin was yelling, how about I just... And then Elder Kai cuts him off with just cutting the link for telepathy. But as soon as they look around, the marks on Yakon people are all removed, and Babidi began panicking even more, as Shibito would pick up Boo's egg, wondering what to do with it, kind of tossing it around. Elder Kai would appear behind them and say, by the way, we don't want to drop the egg, but Elder Kai caught it, and says, I checked in with a friend of mine who caught me up on past events, as you two aren't really any help. This friend, by the way, is an angel of sorts. He says, Grand Supreme Kai and South Supreme Kai are both inside of Buu. So on Earth, get the Dragon Balls, or get that Dragon Ball and free them. Maybe revive the other Kais if they're strong enough. They can fix the slack you failed to pick up when they died and got absorbed. It was kind of a backhanded acknowledgement of Shibito's so far life. Shibito nodded as he grabbed the egg from Elder Kai and flew off to the lookout, and then they would appear up there with him as well as Piccolo, and then they ended up finding the Dragon Ball after a few minutes. He kind of had it just kind of stowed away in the storage area. Pulled it out, threw it to Shibito, who just held it up and summoned Shenron. Shenron came out of it and asked the wish. Pause real quick. Now, first wish is to, without releasing Buu, free free Grand Supreme Kai and South Supreme Kai. Shenron did that. The third wish is to bring about every deceased Kai so far. And that did actually take up the other two wishes, because that was a lot of mystical energy that he had to search for and use. So once they're all revived, eventually Grand Supreme Kai would look around a bit confused, and he finds Shibito holding up the cowering Babidi in one other hand. Well, one hand held the Dragon Ball that soon just turned to stone and flew off into somewhere. Grand Supreme Kai already knew what happened, and without second thought, he would grab Babidi, throw him to the ground, and put him in a box of Kachi. But then they would walk over, create a seal, and slap on the box, and the seal would just said, no magic. Then they did sweat a bit making that seal, but it works. And that actually destroys Grand Supreme Kai, because that's a very strong seal to just casually make. Because, oh my, that was a lot of Shin's power. Speaking of, Shin, my boy, is that you? And he looks to Shibito. Or is it you? Well, you're red. And he looks to Kibito Shin, who, yes, has a name, but his skin is more resembling to Kibito, along with his entire outfit. One thing that resembles Kibito Shin is the haircut and maybe the age or youthful appearance. But Shibito and Kibito Shin both clarify what happened and who they are. South, North, and West Kai all appear, kind of surprised. Also, the power levels are also pretty shocking to them. And Elder Kai says, oh yeah, they all pick up training. I train occasionally. And just shrugs. But now, 4 years of peacetime. So with this, Goku's family does have money, since Gohan became a scholar earlier on, since he graduated early. Also, Goku wins tournaments. What he does for work is literally fight. He loves it. So, winning a few tournaments gives him and Chi-Chi enough money. Well, not barely enough, but enough that Chi-Chi's happy. So, it works out. Plus him and Mr. Satan are both absurdly rich, or not rich, but famous martial artists, so they both do endorsements. So, both families are still very close, as they're both kind of local celebrities of sorts. Or national celebrities, not international, but national celebrities. Now, all the Kais, as you request, essentially get unlocked, hoping they'd get evolutions. But in reality, their bodies kind of just look a bit different, as they already have their own transformations. So with this, Grand Supreme Kai's only transformation, in fact, he was a little more like Fit Buu, but in place of the Mohawk is actually just, or in place of the antenna is, or whatever that is his Mohawk. So that goes instead. With all Kais revived, they should have been restoring the low more levels after they use Whis, the one who Grand Supreme referred to as an old friend, to catch up on all the events, what happened with the life, all that. And with that, a little more levels of Universe 7 raises to a rather average level, where Shinkan would arrive and actually praise them for it. But Beerus is still asleep. Now, Grand Supreme not being around, I decided to check on Moro, and he enhances his strengths. Even using another no magic shield that Dende had made for him. Dende made a lot of them for him over these 4 years. But he was left up to see right on Moro, and then he teleported away. And Dende and Piccolo study under all the Kais, but Piccolo still prefers to train on his own, in the time chamber with clones. But then we go on to the beginning of Super. Trunks and Goten are flying around, and for a present for Bulma. But also kind of a gift for Videl, who's currently pregnant. So while flying around for their 2 gifts, they actually do come across a giant snake, but Trunks would glare at it, and with the invisible eye blast, he would basically just blow the thing to pieces. And it's to think that Vegeta taught Trunks after learning it himself. Who go on have it too, but they never use it, so Goten never learned it. But he does strike fast enough to the point where he can actually contend it with just one arm, so it doesn't matter. He's just fast in base form alone, so that works. On the other world, Yamcha and Chaozu grow very strong. Paikon is a sparring partner, plus they train under Grand Kai now, not King Kai. And to train, but also for fun mostly, they beat up Cell, Frieza, King Cold, Chilled, the Ginyu Force, and Raditz and Nappa if they ever find them, as they both hide a lot, but they eventually do come across and beat them up a lot. And King Yama gives them free roam to do this. Like, he potentially allows them to roam free and beat up this group for fun. And plus, Yamcha's charisma convinced them to give him free roam in the first place. Plus, they're even the ones who handled Janemba. Is that right? Yep, these two handled Janemba. Their free roam actually lead them to find a ton of random teachers from various species. Yardratians, Namekians, Saiyans even. Well, old Saiyans. There's going to be one guy named Yamoshi, who they trained under briefly, but he didn't really train them for too long before kind of just leaving. Now, during this time, Whis took an interest in the Z-Fighters. The 4 years. Grand Supreme Kai and the other Kais gossip about how good Earth food is, as they do occasionally go to Beerus' planet to gossip with Whis. As Shibito and Kimito Shin and other Kai kind of have the universe on lock with their Kai duties now, so they have a lot of free time. And they either spend it with King Yama or Whis. Occasionally other Kais. They teleport universe to universe. Also, Shibito and Kimito Shin learned about Zeno, Daishinkan, all of that. But Whis, after hearing about Earth food, would go to 3 places that the Kais recommend. Look out for Dende's food, as he's pretty good at Earth food and Namekian food. Vegeta, well, not Namekian food, Namekian beverages mostly. So Dende for beverages, Vegeta for simple meals, and Chi-Chi for a full course meal. We've tried all 3, and he loves all 3. So as thank you, he allows Dende to come over to Beerus' planet whenever he wants to. Same for Vegeta. And Chi-Chi, as thank you, Goku's allowed to come over whenever he wants to. And Goku also just decent company. Now, this has come to surprise a lot of Z fighters. Like, a lot of them know Kai Kai. Like, how have we never been here or seen this place? Even Yamcha and Chaozu in Otherworld have learned the far-seeing art, and they don't even know this place exists. And we says, "Oh, simple. I've been hiding it. I've known nothing about you guys since Namek. So, to avoid you coming here, I hid it because I didn't think you were worthy at the time. You were too weak. But I understand it now. You guys are pretty strong and pretty cool, pretty fun." But now we keep going until we get to the beginning, where they already have God Ki. So yeah. Now for strongest to weakest, Gohan in base. He's a bit above initial Super Saiyan God Goku. He has his beast form, Ozaru Wrath, and Master Spirit Control. And he occasionally combines Ozaru and Beast, but for brief moments. Otherwise, it doesn't last long. Piccolo in base is stronger, as he's about on par with the first glimpse of Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, who had fought Frieza. But he has Orange Piccolo, Master Spirit Control, Kai Kai, and Kai level creation. Goku and Vegeta are both around low in terms of base initial Super Saiyan God Goku, in fact a bit above that even. But in Super Saiyan alone, they're around Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Plus they both have Super Saiyan God, 1 through 3, Ozaru Wrath, plus Super Saiyan God, and Master Spirit Control. 17 to 18 are roughly comparable. Shibito and Green Supreme Kai are barely below Goku, Vegeta, and the other androids. The other Kais are about par, but eh. Well, Shibito is like 11. He did recreate the Z sword, but then he turns it into a spirit sword, so he has that as a weapon. So he's actually a fighter. And Great Supreme Kai's magic is basically unmatched now, so. Yeah. 16 and Dende, they're roughly about par with the other Kais as well, but they're not as skilled. It's the only place where they're lacking. And then they also mentioned Spirit Control due to Piccolo and Gohan's occasional teachings. I said occasional because he decided to go to Bara himself. Yamcha and Chaozu are a relative to 16 and Dende. But Yamcha at this point has got Ken to the point where it can reach an unprecedented level, the point where no one knows the multiplier it gives. They just know it makes Yamcha very threatening to be around, the point where even Goku takes damage being hit by Yamcha now, at full power. Like, Goku will be going all out, and full power Yamcha will damage him greatly. That's just how strong he is now. And Chaozu can do roughly the same thing. Once they mention the far-seeing arts, they know a bit Spirit Control. They know a lot about Saiyan history. They know a lot of things. Because they've re-roam of the world and met a lot of random people, including Yardratians, as I said before. Gohan, Tien, and Kibito Shin are all close in power to that. Goten and Trunks are roughly Janemba level, and then in their base forms, as it is Super Saiyan 1 through 3, Ozaru Wrath, and Mastered Spirit Control. Videl had her potential unlocked, because why not? But also a bit of training, she's roughly around 50% of Frieza, like around 50% full power of Frieza. So the one on Namek, basically, 50% full power. Then she has Master Spirit Control, and then Kaioken times 6. Now, when Beerus woke up, he saw Whis and some of the Kais sitting around, eating food and gossiping. And a bit talking as well. And talking about Bulma's birthday party, about how they're about to go in a few minutes. We talk about leaving a clone with Beerus. Just go to the birthday party. Beerus woke up and walked out saying, "Whis, what are you? Great Supreme Kai, Elder Kai. And when did all the Kais come back?" We said, "Oh, what happened during your nap, Lord Beerus?" And immediately Beerus just sighed, saying, regardless, update me, Whis." Whis slammed his staff in the ground, and then it began playing recent events for Beerus, but in double speed, so Beerus could actually keep up with it and not get bored. But he didn't intentionally leave out Trunks, since Whis already showed up the Kais themselves for allowing it. Well, at least Shibito and Kibito Shin, and Elder Kai. The Elder Kai said he already showed out Trunks himself. Eventually the Kais, Kai, Beerus, and Whis themselves to the party, and Buu isn't here. So, Beerus, when it comes to the Super Saiyan God, well, Whis says, we'll have to pick one. There's two. Well, and there's the funny looking one, the one with glasses. He's stronger than the Super Saiyan God, but he's still powerful. Or he's in Super Saiyan God, but he's still stronger than them. Beerus looks around, hints all the keys, and says, "You, and you, and you." It goes on 12 times until Gohan, Piccolo, Goku, Vegeta, 16, 17, 18, Dende, Yamcha and Chaozu, Krillin, and Tien are all chosen to fight Beerus. Gohan went into his beast form, but roared, mixing his sort of wrath with it, making his teeth sharper, and his eyes a bit more fierce, and kind of animalistic. Piccolo went into his orange Piccolo form, but with a godly aura. Goku and Vegeta went Super Saiyan God, but began growing some fur on their wrists and a bit on their back, plus some fangs grew. Goku's aura changed to a vibrant red, and his hair seemed very, very much a little more flowy, but also at the same time a bit more bold colored, being that he's mixing Ozaru and Super Saiyan God. So yeah, red. And Vegeta's aura was turned to dark crimson, his fangs were sharper, and his eyes were purely crimson. No sclera, nothing. It was all just a red block. No white, just a red block. In his eyes, that is. 15, 16, 17, 18 flared their ki. 16's ki had a slight gold hue. 17's aura was clear but intense. 16 doesn't have an aura, but his body bulked up a little bit, and his eyes turned red. The irises did. And they flared his ki, and his pupils vanished. The skin had a slight yellowish tint to it, and a godly aura as well. Yamcha and Chaozu yell Kaioken, but Yamcha calls his Unrelenting Fury. A red aura envelops Yamcha, coloring his halo red and his skin red as well. And Chaozu's skin also does turn red, but his halo color stays the same. Krillin buffs up, and then Tien's body would gain a greenish tint to it, or a greenish yellowish tint. And his third eye would lock in on Beerus. And Beerus feels like he's being stared into his soul. Now, as they all fight, they jump Beerus, obviously. And though they're all laid out, Beerus is panting with a lot of scratches and stuff covering his body. He's like, "What the hell is wrong with the white-haired one and the Namekian? We should train them in secret." Whis says, "Oh no, nonsense, Lord Beerus. Grandstream Kai trains the white-haired one. The Namekian trains by himself. I trained the red-haired Saiyans." Beerus coughs, spitting out a tooth or two, but he says, Grandstream Kai, the white-haired one is your student." He nods and, yes, he's pretty fun to be around. Pause real quick. But eventually after this, the party just goes on, and Beerus is laughing, talking, all that. We took a certain liking to Piccolo and Chaozu. Well, Piccolo, Yamcha, and Chaozu. So, as he's talking with Yamcha and Chaozu, he's like, "So you two got free reign of hell, and you get to train with the Grand Kai down there. And while you train, you terrorize Frieza's family. You two are my second favorites." The Namekian is my favorite, though. The giant one. Mainly because the way he trains is kind of funny to me, and he's still one of the stronger ones without training with anyone. But now we go on to about a year later. We go on into space. In space, we see Cooler. Cooler's walking around with the heaters and 3 Saiyans following behind him. Cooler's body looks a bit metallic, and after the loss against, Gohan, and then, his body was very badly damaged, so he still came across the Big Getty Star. But it didn't repair all his body, because not all of it was damaged. But the heaters approach our house, and they knock. So they knock, a green-haired man answers. He's punched through the house by one of the Saiyans. One with spiky hair, a tail, and blackish-purple armor. The man is revealed to be named Turles. The green-haired man gets up, rubbing his nose, only to be put in a chokehold by one of the heaters named Gas. Turles walks over and says, "Hey, jackass, we this planet may have certain orbs. Hand them over." The green-haired man, named Granola, struggles and is defeated. After days, the Dragon Balls are found by Minato, who wanted to save Granolla's life. So he's using them for the Cooler Core. And Cooler at this point had mastered spirit control himself, and with such key sensor, he's actually able to teleport into Otherworld. He does get chased out from time to time, even by Yamcha and Chaozu, but they don't know who he is. They just think he's using the spirit, as they never noticed that he didn't have a halo. But they've been down there enough times to know who they should bring back. But they also have a very broad wish. The wish: survive the Frost Demons and their allies. The broadness of the wish is easily done. After about 6 months, the Cooler had helped his family train to catch up to him in base form. And he had been in Namek secretly to make him the owner of the Big Getty Star. If you guys are wondering how to make him the owner, he basically can control it without even needing to be inside of it. He can control it telepathically, and it works. He can even just create clones of his body of the giant robots. Or just himself. But using the Big Getty Star, he would also build a time chamber. That's another wish. Well, it took the Big Getty Star and the Dragon Balls to make him the time chamber he wanted. But also he used it to cloak his presence from Sengoku and his allies, which worked again. Eventually they do end up restoring certain characters, like the older members of the Frieza Corps, or the Frost Demon Corps, to their prime. Which would take a while, but it worked. And after 6 months, their numbers look like this. The leaders are Cell, Frieza, and Cooler. Now, Cell has Supercell 1, 2, Golden Cell, and Golden Supercell. Frieza and Cooler both have the first through fourth form, their final form, and then their golden form. And Cooler has his golden fourth form. And their generals are King Cold and Chilled. Well, Cold and Chilled, not King Cold, but Cold and Chilled. In the first through fourth form, final form, but an unstable golden form. The only difference between them and the leaders is unstable golden forms. And their science division is Android 20, 19,000, and Hellfighter 17. Their soldiers: Broly with control over Ozaru and Super Saiyan 1, Pegasus with Super Saiyan 1 through 3, Turles, who ate a few fruits, has Mighty Super Saiyan 1 through 3, Gas, who ate many fruits of might along with the siblings, who are also soldiers, Ginyu, Abo and Kato, and Akka, Raditz, who's Super Saiyan 1 and 2, Zarbon in his devilish form, Midoriya, who would gain a new form called Muscle Doria, being him buffing up, Nappa, who's Super Saiyan 1 and 2, Tagoma, the Ginyu Force, Shisami, and Bojack. Pause. Okay, sorry about that. But within the 6 months, they invade Earth. And in the first fights that we see are 17-16 versus Perfect Cell, 18 versus Frieza, Dende versus King Cold, Yamcha versus Chilled 20 and 19,000, which that says 190. Is 19,000 or 1900? I'm just gonna check. 19. Well, it's 19,000. So yeah. So Yamcha is fighting 3 people. Krillin, unfortunately, is against Broly. Mainly because Broly's the only one who looked confused, so Krillin thought it'd be an easy fight. Videl has to fight Akka, or Abo and Kato. Awo and Kato. So I'm just going to... Yeah. Chaozu's fighting Gas. Goten fights the Ginyu Force. Trunks fights Zarbon and Dodoria. Roshi fights Tagoma. Now, Goku and Vegeta sense what's going on Earth and immediately just teleported in. just because they should. But then Piccolo, who was on the World of the Kai, would Kai in as well. Let me go to the first fights. 16-17 fighting Perfect Cell. As they fight, they're actually like winning. Even when Cell goes in Super Cell, they're still winning. But eventually, Cell would smirk, grabbing 17 by the face and throwing him to the side, trying to fight 16 on his own. 17 thought this was just for no reason, until he's put in a chokehold from behind by Hellfighter 17. Fighter 17 just smiles and says, "Sorry, but I need you." So 17 is beaten down, he's then absorbed, turning into Super 17. But meanwhile, 16 trying to fight Cell, and he is losing. But just in time, as Piccolo teleported in, so did Grand Kai and Shibito, and Shibito using the Spirit Sword, where she cut off Cell's leg, permanently severing it. And Grand would jump in using his own abilities to help fight as well. This would pretty easily beat Cell no matter how powerful he gets, with mastery over nearly every form of magic, the sword that can basically cut anything and it'll never come back. Along with 16, who actually can adapt and grow as he fights, well, Cell will lose immediately. Meanwhile, 18 vs. Frieza. That's honestly in her favor the entire time, but he does go into his golden form eventually, which does lead to more of a stalemate fight, but I'll cover that more in a bit. Dende vs. King Cold. What's going on with Dende? In Dende's favor, Piccolo had arrived just to help, and he punched a hole clean through King Cold's chest from behind in his base state, while King Cold was in his golden state. And as soon as that happened, King Cold tried to jump away using a sword slash at Dende and Piccolo, but Dende had caught it, charged it with ki, and blew it up in King Cold's hand. Like, caught it with 2 fingers, charged it up, and King Cold's hand, it blew up, blowing apart his hands. As King Cold was sent flying back, then they charged forward using his own Keyblade, and Piccolo jumping using his own. It both slammed into King Cold's chest, and then immediately King Cold's body basically begins disintegrating. He was wondering why, but then they just said that we're telling your body so much ki, point where it's just becoming it. Yeah, you heard that right. They're basically turning King Cold into ki. There's so much going through him, the point where his body cannot process it, and it's just going to go away. But King Cold's body just kind of disintegrates, and then disperses into a giant ki blast, or ki explosion. Which King Cold, well not King Cold, but Dende and Piccolo could actually pretty easily tank to the face. There wasn't really much going on to them. So, yeah. Dende could handle it himself, but Piccolo had just arrived to see what's going on, so he jumped in. Now, Yamcha vs. Chilled, 20 and 19,000. Or 20 is Jiro, but yeah. Now, Jiro wanted to run on Yamcha. Well, the Z fighters, but mostly Yamcha, because Yamcha's the one who almost killed him at first. Then he tried to go in for, the chest stab again, but Yamcha had ducked and did the same thing to Jiro. Now, Jiro fell back as Yamcha held him up by his face, as then 19,000 tried to drain his ki. Yamcha smirked, and then immediately went into his Kaioken, Unrelenting Fury. Now, 19 turns up all the ki, but then Yamcha once will punch him in the chest so hard to the point where he blew his back out. Like, quite literally, the punch's force traveled through his back and basically just vaporized it. 19,000 wobbled back until Yamcha had used Jiro's body as a baseball bat and beat 19,000 to pieces with it. Well, he's basically just ducking and dodging all Chilled attacks because Chilled is impressive to him. He's fought Chilled before. Chilled has no new attacks right now. Eventually, Yamcha had finished Jiro and 9,000 as they're both kind of just piles of bolts and blood. He threw him to the side, ducked one more Chilled attack before grabbing him by his legs, flinging him around, and then beating him against basically every surface he could find. Forward him in the air, flipping and slamming on the ground so hard it shook the earth. As Chilled lays down defeated, Yamcha would just put him to the back of his head, and with one little just quiet blast, Chilled quits moving. Then Krillin vs. Broly. Krillin was just trying to tell the big guy to calm down while landing a few punches. It's not really anything damaging. Broly doesn't get moved by them, obviously. Krillin's a very strong character in this story. Eventually, Broly would start lashing out, mainly because he can't hit Krillin. Krillin just too fast, or just dodges, or teleports away. But eventually, Gohan would arrive, himself, as he was busy working. He'd arrive and elbow Broly right in the chest and flying away, and just tells Krillin, go help 18. So, with it, Krillin would jump right over Broly and fly right into Frieza head first. Like, he flies into his chest head first. I think kind of how Gohan did Raditz. which Raditz looked at it and kind of just flinched for Frieza. Frieza stumbled back in his chest, but immediately 18 would punch him in the same spot over and over again. Anthony between smirks on Krillin, she has a strategy. They both smirk, and then Krillin goes into his max power state, and him and 18 both land a combined punch to Frieza's chest, where Krillin had hit him the first time, or headbutted him. Frieza sent flying, till Krillin turned up a one-handed Kamehameha, with it turning golden. As his ki in his max power form is golden. He can try to go on ki with it, and then the blast would basically become so big, as when it's released, Frieza tries to blast back with the death beam, or just the attack that he used to Namek in canon, which he didn't use this time around because he died early on. But as soon as the blast collide, Frieza starts realizing his blast is being enveloped, and then it is, and all we see is basically like the blast that kind of resembles the running out thing from Smash Bros. So the time the blast clears, Frieza's body is just nothing, not even ash. There's just nothing. But now we're going to go Gohan versus Broly. Gohan and Broly fights. Gohan basically still in base while Broly's in Super Saiyan 2. Or Super Saiyan. Initially, Gohan goes into his beast form just to try to beat Broly faster. And Broly does full on lash out going to his legendary form. Gohan starts realizing that Broly's power is too stable for Earth. So he would grab him by the face, you flip him in the air, and with one very quick punch to the solar plexus, Broly's knocked clean out of his legendary state. Wasn't flying to the mountainside, and she let Lemo run over to take care of him, but they realize he's just knocked out. And to the shock, Gohan just walked away, not even going to kill him. He's just leaving Broly asleep. Now, Tien versus Turles. Well, Turles tried to charge Tien, or Tien charged him first, but they begin clashing, going blow for blow, until Tien kind of smirks, saying, "Don't you realize anything?" Immediately starts to realize that Tien wasn't even dodging or parrying. He was quite literally just turning his head lightly and kicking, Turles' hands. Not even trying to avoid him. He's literally just like, kind of slow, so I'm going to just do this. He's being extra on Turles for no reason at all. Turles powered up going to Super Saiyan 1, with his hair spiking up even more and his body bulking up, being Mighty Super Saiyan. The one punch from Tien, it means him flying back, and Tien was fully serious in his punch. Turles was holding back, throwing up, as his hair color faltered. But then immediately he's kicked inside the face, and his vomit is kicked from his mouth. Turles was tumbling into another ship, and he powered up going into Super Saiyan 3. But with one finger, Tien just single-handedly blasted away everything around Turles. Though Tien would just use the Four Witches technique, but then being cloning himself as they all being using the Four Witches. All of them raise about 4 arms, and they charge up one giant key ball. Everyone had to turn and look at this real quick, and Turles tried to just fly and just go, all forward, until the key ball would just dissipate into dozens and dozens of little key balls that slam into Turles until he's basically Swiss cheese. Oakland needs to go back into Tien, and proceeds to just continue fighting fodder soldiers, using the stray key balls around to knock and kill them all. Knock out and kill them all. Now Videl versus Abo, Kato, and Akka eventually. He's pretty easily bodying both of them, as they're both still pretty strong, and she herself is a great Saiya woman. Or Saiya girl, or Saiya man 2. Or Gohan, or Gohan Saiya man, Goten Saiya man 2. Videl Saiya man 3, or the great Saiya girl, or the great Saiya woman, whatever. Which is pretty easily bodying Abo and Kato, even if you're like, oh, they're probably stronger than Frieza was, when I said Videl, how strong Videl was earlier. She's just kind of Ken. Can go up to the time 6, but that was a year ago. Now, that's about Kao Ken times 20-ish maximum. Or maximum is 20, times 20. Excuse me. So, she eventually is able to actually push these two into fusing into Akka. But when they got close, Videl's pretty easily able to actually dodge and counter all their attacks, until she just smirks, uses her transmission, and leaves them on a planet. But before she leaves, she blasts the planet's core, realizing there's nothing here aside from like a dog. So she teleports the dog, grabs it, teleports away, leaving them on a planet that's about to blow up. He reappears to the dog. Gohan said, "What was that about?" And in the distance, he just briefly sees a new star form. He can react to things that fast. I'd also assume he can probably see it from distance. And I'll laugh, saying, "Isn't that kind of cruel?" He says, "Oh no, this is the only thing here, the last living creature." And it's basically just a geriatric-looking dog. Gohan just shrugs and, well, Pan's gonna love her new pet, I guess. Meanwhile, Chaozu versus Gas. Chaozu is completely and utterly winning this fight with really no effort at all. Chaozu is dominating base Gas, until Gas goes into his berserker state and Chaozu goes into his max power Kaioken. But he's still pushing back Gas until Granola would jump in. As Granola crashes his pod right into Gas. The heaters jump out, and Elec tried to fight as well, but Cooler had briefly intervened. And one simple finger blast, he had basically blown a hole through Elec. But Elec said, yelled at Gas, saying, "Gas, look! That should killed Elec." Immediately, Gas just got, basically got angrier and angrier. And Broly got back up, and immediately, Perigus was about to be killed, but I'm going to cover that later. But Chaozu and Granola versus Gas in the heaters. Now, immediately, Oil and Maki, Gas' siblings, realized what was going on, but Gas didn't. They ended up trying to restrain him as Chaozu and Granola continued to hit him, but Granola started realizing Chaozu sending a message in his head telling him, "Don't kill him." Granola tries to shut it out, but it doesn't work, and eventually he does succumb to the idea of just don't kill Gas. Eventually they send Gas flying through the air, and he's transforming, but with one simple key blast to the head, they didn't kill him, but kind of just shut down his brain for a second. Basically a factory reset. Gas to the ground, and kind of just drool. He's asleep, but also partially brain dead. He'll be fine in a minute, but Granola's blast did do a number on him. Oyamaki decides to defend him while he recovers. Now Goten versus the Ginyu Force. Raccoon tries to talk about how the old days where he broke Gohan's neck, so he'll break Goten's neck. In response, Goten jumped up, kicked him in the neck full force, and his head is no longer on his body. Ginyu Force yelled, "What the hell was that?" Then Goten just said, "These guys are kind of weak," and he would then use his punches that are so fast, to the point where they rival the invisible Ki Blast or invisible Ki Eye, and the Ginyu Force is all sent flying through the air. He immediately tried to use Change Now on Goten, as he's the closest one to him. Everyone else is kind of risky. But immediately Goten would just teleport behind him, Spirit Control, and then he would create 3 clones, as he would punch Ginyu in the back of the head. As the punch landed, 3 clones would jump out, hitting Jace and Birder, and then Goldo. As Goldo tried to use the time freeze, but the clone would charge him too fast, and basically turn him into paste while crashing into him. Ginyu hit the ground with the back of his head, having a giant fist imprint, and he's just blank. His eyes are just blank. Order tries to move as fast as he can, but, the clone of Goten is pretty easy keeping pace, until he grabs Birder by the leg and just spins around as fast as he can, and throws him right into the sun, or towards it. He doesn't know if he crashes into it, but all he knows is that Birder doesn't come back. So Birder's either in space running away, or he is space dust. Who knows? Or fuel for the sun, but no. Then for Jace, he tries to crush her ball, but Goten will punch it back right at Jace. He throw it, Goten punches it right back, and Jace his face kind of just droops, saying, "Are you serious?" Before he's hit head on by the attack, and Jace is no more. A transfers are in Doria. They refer to him as Vegeta's brat, and they try to attack him, thinking that he'll be easy pickings. But then he would create 2 clones that they both clash with, and he says he has better things to do. And the 2 clones handle them while he sits down with Goten and play with video games. While they're messing around, occasionally blasting Frieza Force fodder or Frost Demon Core fodder. Immediately, they're both to be punched, and they barely avoid the attacker, seeing Super 17. And they create a bunch of clones to distract them, while they then fuse into Gotenks. It's on their Gotenks, she looks like a 15-year-old. About that. They fight in Super 17 themselves for a little bit, but even going to Super Saiyan 3 mixed with Ozaru Wrath. Meanwhile, Roshi fights Tagoma and Shisami. As he's kind of just watching this fight, occasionally blasting fodder with a very weakly charged up Kamehameha that can erase them immediately. But they both attack, and he pretty just jumps over them both like they're nothing. Yeah, sorry, I just see how strong people think Tagoma and Shisami are. At maximum, they're like Cell level. Like perfect Cell, not like Super Cell. All the Z Fighters had surpassed that by a long shot. They are long surpassing Buu. So with this one, Hiroshi, he's really easily fighting both of them with really no effort at all, like still in his base state, all of that. But eventually, Tommy gets too close, and Hiroshi grabs him by the horn, really spinning him into Goma, and he impales Goma on one of his horns. Trying to separate. So Hiroshi would poke Goma in the back with his cane, and one Ki Blast would fly from the cane, or it flies through Shisami, and then into Goma, and both just collapse. And Hiroshi calls them both idiots for fighting so recklessly. But then goes into his max power state, charging up one Kamehameha, and vaporizing majority of the Frost Demon core, realizing that everyone's already having their own fights and finishing up soon. Then Goku. He's fighting Bojack and Raditz. Now, Bojack and Raditz are both really just really no effort at all. Like, Bojack tried to fight Goku, only to be met with just deflection, and then run a 1-inch punch to the chest that knocked him out immediately. Raditz tried to call him just a brat and go Super Saiyan. Finn trying to insult him, all that. But Goku's spinning around, grabbing Raditz by the hair, spinning him around, and launching him. Oh, I thought my chair hit something. Spinning around and launching him clean into just orbit. Raditz tried to fly back down, but he's then met with a kick in the chest from Goku, and he knocked him right out of Super Saiyan. And he's just left-handed in space, and he cannot breathe in space. And Goku just flew back down, as Raditz kind of just was left to his own fate. He slides back down, he would arrive, Raditz goes in, about to be punched in the chest by Super 17, and he blocks it for him, and he would enter, well, Super Saiyan Blue, to fight for Gotenks, or with him. Then Vegeta versus Nappa and Paragus. This fight's going on with Vegeta pretty easily holding his own, he'll occasionally just block the other most of the side and just execute random piece of soldier. Like, he'll get near him and he'll just chop their head off with just like his bare hand. But eventually, Nappa and Paragus will try to do a combined attack, and then immediately Paragus will notice how the corner right, he was coming towards them. But Vegeta sees it too. To the shock, Vegeta jumps in and saves him. He takes the blast to the chest with really no effort. Paragus yells, "What the hell, Cooler?" As he then sees it was Cooler who blasted at him. Nappa says, "To hell with that! Kill Vegeta!" Nappa then landed, realizing that Vegeta had vanished. And then he sees Vegeta's on his head, and with a Ki Blast from his feet, Nappa is in turned to nothingness. Well, his entire from the head to the feet is nothing. His arms are left. That's about it. Vegeta landed after Nappa's body was reduced to nothingness, and he told Paragus, truce to kill him. And Paragus said, "Sure, why the hell not?" But as they're about to both attack him, and Super 17 would crash into them, as Goku's holding him in a chokehold and even biting him. And Vegeta says, never mind, I have to deal with this. He then goes Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, landing a punch that shook the entire Earth. And Paragus sides, saying, "Alright, yeah, got it." Vegeta Super Saiyan 3, appearing right in front of Cooler, punching him in the face, and him flying back. Didn't do much damage, but it did surprise Cooler that Paragus could get to him that quickly. But in time, the heaters arrive, with all tackling Cooler, with Gas being hung in the cannon, because he trained, or at least space Gas. We're going to Berserker State, punching Cooler in the chest so hard that Cooler felt ribs shatter. Cooler coughed up blood, trying to recover, but then from behind, well, he's held in place by 18. The heaters, 18, and Krillin all hold Cooler in place, as Paragus and Gas are mutually charged up one blast. Paragus with an eraser cannon, and Gas says something unintelligible, but they know it's going to hurt. 18 is the one who stands behind Cooler, knowing she's more durable than he is, so when the attack hits, it does pierce through him, but it doesn't really damage 18. It kind of burns her shirt a little bit, and that's about it. She drops Cooler, who's now just dead. There's a small hole in her shirt where her stomach is, but she's fine otherwise, like a small singe mark maybe. But just surprise Paragus and Gas. But she's just saying, I can probably beat you both with one hand. I'm not surprised. But she looks over to Super 17 as he's fighting Goku, Vegeta, and Gotenks. She looks at 16, who's doing something else, and she asks him, "Are you almost done?" These wires coming from his neck, plugging into the Big Daddy Star. As it tries to revive and heal Cooler, where he's beginning to get up, only for 18 to just continuously blast down at him, until she lets out one giant and long Ki Blast that reduces the area he was in to nothingness. Even the Grand Turn guy who walked over and just filled the entire thing with Kachin, so it couldn't get to him. But he does as the 16 is doing, and so the Babidi star seems to crumble. It was actually to Earth, but it was acting more like a ship than, well, kind of a vacuum of sorts. But then, it began pulsating until the entire thing reduces just nothingness. It turns into, well, kind of just gets sucked into the wires as the 16 had shot out into it. But then to their shock, 16's face turns partially metallic, and then his eyes turn red again. But then says he has all their abilities now. The abilities of the Frost Demons. Of the Frost Core. Giving the charge right at Super 17, punching him in the back, and making him cough up blood. But then his fists would shoot off into the sky and explode. Super 17's falling, he's then met with the knee to the chest from 16, but then proceeds to clinch him and hit him in the chest over and over again, until he's basically unconscious. 16 then by force is able to rip 17 Hellfire 17 apart and throw them both to the side. And then with one single key blast, he would turn Hellfire 17 to ash. This was everyone that he pretty easily dealt with Hellfire 17. He just says he was hitting spots he knew that would be too hard to defend against. Plus, if he was really willing to block his knee strike, his arms would be broken horribly. So either break your arms and not fight, or let your chest be caved in. So, yeah. Eventually, Whis did arrive, along with Whis, and with his father's permission, he actually would wave his staff and strip mostly everyone of their living bodies, as a lot of them are actually dead people who were just revived. But few people were actually granted sanctuary on Earth. Broly, Paragus, Gas, Maki, and Oil were granted asylum to stay. Other ones, we said he had to wave his staff, and they were all reduced into just their dead bodies. Even if they were alive previously, they're now dead. Then we said Turtle Staff once more, and they're all sucked into it. And we says, Lord Beerus will have his fun with you all later. So that we put his staff back, and with this, Ronald was offered to stay on Earth, but he declined, flying off. Meanwhile, 16, they basically just absorbed the entirety of the Big Getty Star, so, yeah. But now, time passes, and we have the Universe 6 tournament starting for the same reason as canon. Now with this, the team is Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien. That's the 5 teams. Well, not 5 teams, 5 players, or fighters. The written test, Goku barely passed, as canon, but everyone else pretty comfortably passed. First fight is Goku actually versus Frost. These fights are all organized because everyone passed. Goku fights Frost, and he actually gets eliminated because he still got poisoned. Then Vegeta versus Kaba. It's the next fight. You still talk Kaba Super Saiyan, but Kaba started realizing Vegeta's not even fighting him in Super Saiyan. He actually does ask him, why aren't you transforming? You don't even really dodging my attacks. But Vegeta says, I'm fighting because I can just do this. And he doesn't even punch Kaba, he just literally backhands him out of Super Saiyan. Kaba hit the ground, knocked out, and his neck snapped. Vegeta hit him that hard. Vegeta walked by, he killed him, and then Kaba got up surprised. But he got a pretty decent Zenkai out of his neck being snapped from the slap. But then he realized that was Vegeta's intention, he just winked. He hopped in the stands after his win was solidified, and Kaba was scared that he almost died immediately, but at least he got stronger. Next fight is Piccolo versus Hit. Fight began, and he had to use time skip. Well, he got close to Piccolo. A punch was planted right in Hit's chest. Even when time stopped, or skipped, he didn't see Piccolo's fists move. Piccolo's just that fast. Throughout the entire fight, Hit kept trying to evolve around Piccolo, but it didn't work. When he got close, there's a fist implanted in his chest. But eventually, Hit is panting and coughing up blood. He's on his chest, seeing at least 5 fist imprints. Then he looks up. Piccolo's aura is being flared. Base Piccolo is doing this to Hit. Hit tried to use one more time, even advancing it, but Piccolo would appear behind him in his orange form, and with one punch, everyone sees throughout the ring there's a mushroom cloud. And Hit is on the ground, with his mouth open, his eyes wide, and a giant fist imprint in his back. Piccolo's announced the winner, he heals Hit, and then he goes back into the stands. Hit is pretty surprised that he lost that fight. Next fight, Tien versus Automagetta. Fight goes on with Vegeta trying to sweat out Tien, but then Tien decides he has a different idea. He then creates as many clones as he can, as he does realize that Vegeta has feelings hurt when Tien called him a tin can. It was kind of just meant as a joke, calling him like, "Oh, you're one strong tin can." He was very sarcastic, but it did hurt Vegeta's feelings. Once he realized that, he smirked. Vegeta was confused as to what's Champa, until Tien created at least around 15 clones. They all began yelling barrage of insults at Vegeta, until Vegeta ran out of the ring crying. Or holding his face like he should be crying. And Vegeta kind of laughed and said, smart. I've have to do at least 100, but whatever floats your boat. On a fight is Krillin versus Botamo. Yeah, the fight started. Krillin landed one punch that Botamo was sent flying back from. They do damage, but it has a lot of impact behind it, which sent him flying. Botamo thought it would be it'd be nothing. And like even just pretty easy to run around Krillin. Krillin teleport behind him, pick him up, and just drop out of bounds. And Krillin just called him an idiot for not thinking outside the box like that. Then for the full fight Frost, Krillin decided he'll do it, just because he didn't like the way his best buddy lost. When the way it started though, when he told Frost to go all out or transform again, Frost did so, as Frost's point is revealed to be evil, obviously. The fight started, and with one punch, Krillin will send Frost flying across the ring, and his face is badly battered, like, from that one punch. Like, Goku was enjoying the fight. Krillin's mad. Frost tried to get up, but Krillin picked him up with one leg, spun him around, and began beating him around. He basically, kind of acts like, it's like one of those like fairy team kind of spins around, and you have to, stay standing. Krillin basically does that, but he spins while holding Frost by the tail, slamming him into the ground over and over again. Everyone's watching Krillin just absolutely abuse Frost, until he finally let go of him, the referee steps between them, and Frost is just laying there limp. They took him on Frost, and they said, "Alright, yeah, he's dead." So with that, Krillin says, not for long. Gives him some ki, Frost's heart keeps beating, and Krillin punches him in the back so hard that the ring basically split in half. But with that, Krillin is the winner. Beerus kind of laughed and said, the bald man is my third favorite. Piccolo asks if he's still in first, and Beerus says, yes, obviously. Yamcha is still second. Well, Yamcha and Chaps are tied for second. Krillin's now third. And Goku asked why Krillin went so hard, but he just said, people who don't fight fair don't get gentle treatment. In the stands of Universe 6, you can see Frost cowering behind Hit, trying to avoid, Krillin's gaze. And meanwhile, Frost is holding up Kaba just to make sure Piccolo isn't staring at him. Or Kaba kind of just waves at Vegeta. Vegeta just gives a curt nod. Vegeta's just crying, hiding away from everyone, and Botamo looks a bit embarrassed. Kaba's the only one here with normal emotion. Then Frost is traumatized, Hit's embarrassed, Vegeta is sad, and Botamo is a bit embarrassed and annoyed. Next arc would be copy Vegeta, because if I want to go anime canon, but copy Vegeta is kind of irrelevant. Even if the arc did happen, it would end almost as quick as it started. There's two people who can pretty confidently beat Vegeta without going all out, being Gohan and Piccolo. And yeah, it wouldn't be hard to find either of them. Alright, but we're going to go into the future right now. Zamasu took Piccolo's body. Yeah, Krillin and Piccolo had the most impressive displays of power. Because Vegeta didn't really go all out. He backhanded Kaba and broke his neck. That's all he did. He didn't even go super Saiyan. He backhanded his neck and snapped it. Then with Tien. Clones and insults. That was a really big display. Goku, lost. Piccolo, in base form, basically, I was at a time skip, but also went all out for a brief moment and traumatized a man. And Krillin, I claimed what he did. He killed Frost and brought him back just to break his spine. So there's either Krillin or Piccolo, and I think Zamasu would have chose Piccolo, just the fact that he looks more intimidating than a bald monk. But in the past, well, simply put, Trunks is the strongest. Yeah, Trunks is the strongest warrior in his timeline, even if Zamasu has Piccolo's body. Plus, he can't use Orange Piccolo, because that's a tradition for Piccolo specifically. Zamasu cannot transform into that. He has base Piccolo. That's good. That's good and all. Trunks is still stronger. Trunks has Beast form, makes a Super Saiyan Rage. And plus he has Spirit Sword already, which he can just use to cut Piccolo in half and then end the fight. But I don't go into a proper story for this. So in this timeline, Trunks is the strongest warrior, sure. The Kais are all in their prime, and they're all alive. So when Zamasu had arrived to kill Shin, he saw Shibito. Shibito would pretty easily avoid Zamasu's strike, kick him in the face, and teleport away, with Kirito Shin doing the same thing, and so does Elder Kai. And so the other Kais are in the surrounding area. So we used to kill Shin to kill Beerus. But he didn't expect Shibito to actually be a competent warrior. Shibito told Beerus about Piccolo and Zamasu, and Beerus was ready to fight. And so Shibito just said, "Have faith in Trunks," as Beerus has met him a few times. In fact, Trunks is also a destroyer candidate, as is Piccolo. Well, not Piccolo, probably not a destroyer candidate, but a candidate nonetheless. He's a thought, but the actual candidate is Trunks. Now, Moro Zamasu was met on Earth by Trunks, could utilize Beast, but so could Gohan, future Gohan that is. And at this point, Vegeta and Goku, there's a few grays, but not much. But they're still catching up to Gohan and Trunks. But Trunks would use Beast Rage with the Spirit Sword, and Gohan would just use basic Super Saiyan Rage. So these two alone had surpassed Piccolo. But Dende would also use Orange Dende, and Cargo would use Orange Cargo. Piccolo just jumped and beaten, or Piccolo Black just jumped and beaten brutally. By the time they're all done beating him, he's basically just one arm, and barely a leg, one leg, a torso that's very much carved up, and a very battered face. Cargo will land the final punch that basically just pierces the whole thing through Piccolo Black, and then the punch detonates, killing Piccolo Black. After all, they just bring him back. They wanted to just abuse him because someone has had enough trauma and they refuse to have any more. Immortal Zamasu was hiding behind a car trying to avoid Trunks. He was terrified. He poked his head out though. He feels a poke on his back, and that is just Trunks with the sword and poking his back lightly. Sometimes he's a bit terrified. Only way to have the sword poke him one more time, but Trunks just says Hakai. And an explosion occurs, and Zamasu is no more. Or even if he is more, he can get Hakai over and over again until Whis or Beerus steps in. Which, even if Zamasu does survive, Beerus probably just grab him, throw him at Whis, and tell him, try to trap him in your staff so I can beat him up later for training. And Whis does just that, even if Trunks doesn't kill him. So, yeah. So with this basically ends the Piccolo Black arc. It never happened. It was ended within the span of like maybe an hour or two by Trunks. Now I'm going on to the Universe Survival arc. Pause real quick. So first was the exhibition match. Yes, Dende 16 and Gas. Now, Dende is going to fight Basil, and Basil tried to kick a ball of key at Dende, who pretty quickly just caught it and threw it back at him, like he caught it. Basil tried to kick it back, but the moment it hit his leg, it detonated. Now he's flipped in the air and hit the ground, and his leg is completely numb and very badly wounded. Everyone leg wondering how Dende did that, and Dende just said he fused in his own key with it, so it blew up whenever he wanted it to. He tried to charge Dende one more time, but then they would wrap up his arm, no stretching it out, and then squeezing him until Basil just yelled, "Alright, I give, let me go already." And then they dropped him, and Basil hobbled back in the stands. But as he's hobbling back, he's healed by Dende, who would jump into the stands. And Basil's kind of surprised, his body even feels stronger after the healing. And then the healing upgrade so much to it's just called upgrade. So he upgrades your body, which also heals you. But only works if you're actually damaged. So he kind of just gives you a Zenkai, basically. He auto Zenkais anyone he heals. Alright, now 16 versus Lavender. Now, 16 walked over Lavender while Lavender wondering what this fight's going to do, and later landed one punch in his face. But to his shock, 16's eyes are fine. He says, "Oh, poison. Unfortunate. I'm a robot." Lavender froze before 16 would inhale all the poison and then breathe it right into Lavender's face. And Lavender rolled around trying to get it out of his eyes, but then he's picked up kind of like by the scruff, and he's thrown out of bounds. Lavender's turned his face, trying to get it out of his eyes. Then 16 just sprays something on him, and they call it a finger, sprays something, and then it's gone. And Lavender just called him an annoying robot. Now, Gas versus Bergamo. When the fight started, Gas had one punch that Bergamo recoiled from severely. His recoil was serious. He fell back, only met from above with an axe kick, and launched him into the ground. But then he grabbed the back of the head by Gas, and he just wailed on the entire time until he's still growing in size. Gas is just trying to hold him down no matter how big he gets. By the time he's done, Bergamo is just already knocked out. He just didn't stop because no one can tell. When Bergamo's as big as the ring, everyone's like, "Alright, stop for a moment." Sidra jumped down, picked up Bergamo, and realized he's been asleep for the last 18 punches. Bergamo shrinks back down with a bit of help from their angel, and then he's thrown into the stands, just basically just in a coma. Topo just tried to jump down to attack Gas for being sportsmanlike. But when he jumped down, though, he's met with one finger from Beerus, who just tells him, "Step off." And immediately, Topo did. Now the Tournament of Power. First fight that I always like to have, Brienne, Hakunsa, and Rosie versus 18. Mainly because I cannot get over the "Hey, ugly" remark from Tournament of Power, and 18 look confused of who they're calling ugly. Brienne still did this, but she wasn't even Brienne. She was just like, what was her name? Like Brienne, I think. I think it was just Brienne or something. No, I don't think so. Even this, she was just in base form, and she called out to 18 like, "Hey, ugly." Affect the team, by the way, to mention the team. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, 16, 17, 18, Yamcha, Gas, Dende. That's the team. Yamcha still has his undead body, just because. Does she know how to be convinced it was essential to his power? And it kind of is, but at the same time, he also used Unrelenting Fury in his base state, or in his living state. It would just not last for 2 minutes as it does usual. Now it only lasts about a few seconds, and a maximum like 10, before his body is just reduced to a pile of ash from how badly it hurts. But so 18 fights Universe 6's Hakunsa, Brienne, and Rosie, but they're still in their base states. As they call out, "Hey, ugly," and the blink of an eye, they're both punched out, or all three are punched out of bounds. As this point, 18 in base is about relative to Canon Jiren at 100%. So this was not hard for her to do. I'm not talking about relative. I'm not talking about base. She does have power-ups. Being like she flares her ki and she gets stronger. Plus 16 gave her and 17 pieces of the big Getty Star upgrades and players. They adapt mid-combat. They're never really at a base state. They're kind of at pre-adaptation. And Dende. Zamasu, also part of Universe 2, he does try to ambush Dende, who's just looking around innocently. But then when he teleports around Dende, try to use a punch, and they pretty easily just duck below it and just spun around to Zamasu pretty easily. And he's wondering how he's doing this, and how the hell are you tracking me? And he says, I know spear control too. It's pretty easy to track if you know how it works. He just tried to do it for more punches until Dende would just enlarge his hand, pick him up, and throw him out of bounds. And then they would look at the rest of Universe 2 who tries to attack him, but he lets out one mouth beam and sends them all flying out of bounds. He could wave sorry in the rest of the stands, but they all gave him the stink eye. This happened in the first 1 minute of the TOP, so they were immediately knocked out. Meanwhile, Universe 10, the weakest tier so far, they're caught in the crossfire of Universe 7, basically just barraging everyone with Ki blasts. And as they're caught in the crossfire of that, they're all knocked out by every universe attacking 7, and 7 attacking back at more power. This 10 is erased very quickly. Next fight is 16 versus Anilasa. Pause real quick. Anilasa quickly formed after they realize that 16 is a robot, and they think they can pretty easily assimilate him into their power. But things don't really turn into Anilasa. 16 would jump up, and he punches them in the chest. NBC is pumping their energy into him. They forcibly defuse, and they're all out of energy, to the point where they kind of just die in the ring. But then, when they try to argue if he can be disqualified, NBC just says their batteries run out, that's all. Charge them next time. Or give them bigger batteries. And if they take them into account, they're not dead, they're literally just powered off now. But 16 did get a warning for doing that. Resident Evil 2 tries to attack 16 for revenge, but he literally just shoots wires from his chest that pick them all up and carry them to different edges of the ring and just drops them out of bounds. Now we have Yamcha versus Ganos, Damam, Majora, Gamisalis, and the rest of Universe 4. Ganos is a kid like the electric bird thing from Universe 6, not Universe 6, Universe 4. Damam is the little bug thing. Majora is the blind guy, and Gamisalis is the invisible bug thing. Universe 4 is also just the rest of this kind of unimpressive. Ganos tries to just dive bomb into Yamcha, covered in electricity, but Yamcha just incineration behind him, grab him by the leg, and spin slam him into the ground. As soon as Ganos tried to recover, Yamcha just held up like a single finger, and then with repeated Ki blasts, he just barrages him. Then the mom is going for a punch, but Yamcha pretty easily just dodges, no matter how small he is. And same for Gamisalis. Damam and Gamisalis try to both just attack Yamcha, while they're both invisible. Well, one's invisible, one's just really small. Eventually, you swing out two hands, catching them both in each hand. And Majora is blind, but he tries to just fight Yamcha, thinking that he's going to be a pretty predictable fighter. Yamcha went in for one kick, and right as Majora dodged, the kick redirected, something right into his ribs. Everyone heard a deafening crack, as Majora fell to the ground clutching his side, and yelled he quits. Like, he just screamed he quits. Immediately, everyone wondered why he was quitting, until he realized that Yamcha kicked through his body. Like his foot was in his actual ribcage. And it was kind of granted Majora to leave. Majora was healed, a little kick thrown out, first transported out of the arena, he was healed by his own team. And meanwhile, Ganos tried to shock Yamcha again, trying to dive bomb him, but he threw Damam and Gamisalis right at him, and the three collide, creating an explosion that sends all three of them flying out of bounds. Universe 4 doesn't get hesitant to attack Yamcha, but he smirks, creating clones that all power up and attack them. But as soon as the clones finish up, they dissipate, and then the fights go back to normal. Gas is sitting down, punching a random member of Universe 10 who stayed behind. Like, he's sitting on his chest and punching him in the face over and over again, not killing him, but just bored. So he's doing this. Hit and Frost attack him, but immediately Gas will just look at them both, and with an invisible Ki eye, they both sent flying back. Dr. Roto was in the attack too, but the invisible Ki eye sent him flying out of bounds. And he yells, "How the hell did that hit me?" But Chamba just says, "Because you're weak," and just sighs. Hitch tried to do a time skip, but when his fist got near Gas bit him. Hit yelled in pain as Gas chewed on a wild animal, and Frost even poisoned him, but his body didn't seem phased. Gas tried to poison him again when he realized this needle's gone. But to shock, Gas held up one hand as he chewed on his arm, and held up the needle, for just crushing it. Frost was scared and tried to run away, but Gas ran off after him on all fours, but in his berserker state. Gas is more like a wild animal to them because it's funny to me. Goku had walked over wondering what Gas was doing because he's heard like feral growling and yelling, and he sees Hit in a chokehold with one arm, and then him chewing on Frost's back or face, whatever one's wanting to bite. Goku just simply just holds his hand like, Gas, just throw it out of bounds, buddy. Hit just yells, "Get this thing off of me!" Goku just picks up Gas by like his leg, holds him over the edge of the ring, and shakes him as he drops Hit and Frost out of bounds. Frost finally speaks and says, "You ruined my snack. I was going to eat them." And Goku says you would have been disqualified. He throws Gas back. Gas lands on all fours, and then runs off to bite and fight someone else. Now Vegeta versus Kaba. What's going on with Vegeta? He's still in base form, ducking and dodging all his attacks. And Kaba is still, like, pretty strong. Like, he's stronger than Canon. In fact, he has his neck snapped and then healed. He then yelled going into Super Saiyan. But Vegeta still caught, or Super Saiyan 3. But Vegeta still got his punch, pushes his arm, and just almost on cue, Potama and Vegeta jump in to attack him. Potama had actually saved Kaba, and Vegeta landed a punch on Vegeta. But to his shock, Vegeta didn't even budge. If you just didn't even block, the punch is on full in Vegeta's face. Vegeta just didn't seem fazed by it. Vegeta then grabbed Vegeta's arm, and Vegeta to Ki and began crushing his arm before rolling it up into a ball and shoving it into Vegeta's body. Vegeta yelled in pain and only to be kicked out of bounds. And Vegeta tells him, saying, "Haven't you heard it's rude to intervene in fights?" Tom kind of just froze, so he just did Vegeta. Stuffed Kaba in his chest and ran away at top speeds, like trying to avoid Vegeta. But then, as he thought he was far enough away, he turned around. Vegeta's gone. Turned back around and was met with a punch to the face. Kaba would charge out of his chest, headbutting Vegeta right in the chest at full force. And Vegeta did feel a small crack, but that was just his armor, not his ribs. Then Vegeta would catch Kaba with like his full arm against his head and basically pressing into his chest and suffocating him. Because he can't breathe. When he let go of Kaba passed out and threw him out of bounds. Told him he got too close. But Thomas tried to run again, but then he simply just swept by Vegeta, who just is transmission in front of him. And Vegeta would wrap his legs around his body, then his arms, and then throw him around, kind of a pinball, knocking out random fodder of different universes. Once the Tamo came back, Vegeta would catch him and drop him out of bounds safely. Now, Gohan versus Caulifla and Kale. They both tried to attack Goku, but Gohan got in the way. As they attacked, got him to make him move, both landed a punch. Caulifla to his stomach, and Kale for a kick to the face. But he didn't really seem too fazed by either of them. Gohan's wearing his super uniform, like superhero movie. I mean, he has the purple gi, the shoulder pads, and the glasses. Like he's even saying, "Are you sure you really want to do this? Do this against me? Like you don't have to. You don't want to." They continue to attack him, till eventually he just vanishes, and he'll grab Caulifla's kick, or leg, I guess, and slam her right in the Kale at full force, cracking the arena majorly. They both try to back up. They realize they can't. They can't even in Super Saiyan, Caulifla can't get up. Kale pull up Potara. Caulifla does the same thing, and they fuse in the Kefla. But in base form, Gohan just backhands her, sending her flying across the arena. Goes into her berserker state, but Gohan would charge up a single punch of Ki, and with one Dragon Fist, she sent flying clean into the stands and knocked out. So far, Gohan, Goku, and Vegeta have not transformed at all. They have just been mean in their base forms. Every person who's transformed was Yamcha's clones. Well, and Gas, but Gas is just a wild animal to them at this point. Now, as Kefla is like weakly just knocked out of bounds, Vito Shin just walks over, poked her, and they immediately just shot out like defused. This is Frieza Universe 6. Universe 6 is Kai's, but this kind of just led to them being erased before they could ask any questions. Well, not being erased, but then the next fight is Piccolo and Dende versus Sao and Polina. Well, Polina, I know because Polina, I believe, is the bigger one, Sao is the smaller one. Piccolo and Dende are sitting down in rubble, just talking and just kind of enjoying like just the scenes. Until an extended arm shot at Piccolo's face, which he literally tilted his head and bit the hand, and just told them, next time, don't get so close. Polina would rock himself closer, and tried to hit Piccolo in the face. The punch did land, but Piccolo wasn't fazed by it. Piccolo spit out his hand, before uppercutting him in the face. Still sitting, he's just really big. Then he sent flying back, and Sao tried to ambush Dende. But when his punch landed, he realized it was an after image. Then he got him in the face and slammed his head into the giant clock thing, or countdown thing, the pillar in the middle, and it was snapped in half by that alone. The trouble then they would hold his hand up and just repair it immediately, apologizing to Daichinkan. But Sao was just knocked out in his hand. Either Sao out of bounds, and Polina was wondering how they're all so strong. Or how Dende and Piccolo are so strong. And Piccolo says, strong? We're not even using half our power yet. Polina tried to angrily, but Piccolo would just duck and meet him in the stomach at full force, knocking him out immediately. But as he's about to fall, then they would just use telekinesis and just levitate him into the stands, and that's kind of a disqualification for Polina. So, yeah. But that's the end of Universe 6. Now, Goku versus the Trio of Danger, and the rest of Universe 9, basically. They end up trying to circle Goku, but as they try that, he would pretty quickly just be able to. He just teleports out of it. Like he can use Kai. I about to land like a three-way attack. Kai behind them at the last minute. As they're confused, they all collide, rocketing each other out of bounds. And Beerus laughs, calling them all idiots, asking Sidra, "What do you do for your universe? Nothing? They're stupid." The rest of Universe 9 tries to attack Goku, but he simply just does one Kai while he moves so fast to the point where it kind of seemed like he was doing multiple. It was basically after images defeating all of Universe 9 with one teleportation move. When he's done, when Universe 9 all shot out of bounds by Goku, and he just laughs, still in base form. Now, Goku had Kai right next to Jiren, kind of forgetting where he was going. He got just teleported anywhere. Jiren opened one eye and looked up at Goku. Goku looked down at him as Jiren was meditating. As Jiren wanted to meditate and charge up, Jiren shrugs. And Goku's strong, so he'll talk to him. He's like, sure. 30 seconds. Or a last-minute fight. What do you think? Goku says, I don't care. He sat down in front of Jiren and started meditating. But Belmont had told Beerus, he saw the fights on GodTube. He realized how strong they were, especially Goku. He was caught off guard by Frost. So what he did is he had his Kais and Margarita working in the time chamber. And in about the last month or two, they've been on and off in that thing. Pause. Okay. So Belmont had revealed that his team had been training in the time chamber for about a month or two. On and off, of course. And they did use their own universe's Dragon Balls, if they had them, or made them, to actually wish for their youth again, or their prime, while keeping their power. So this universe is still strong, but stronger than canon. Like Universe 7. Vegeta and Goku meditate, charging up their power. Universe 7 began closing in on the Pride Troopers, who had not lost a single fighter. Vegeta sent to Topo, who immediately went into his God of Destroyer form, but it wasn't a Hakai form. No, it was kind of like Ultra Ego, but it's called Prideful Topo. Vegeta smirked for entering his own Ultra Ego, calling Topo interesting. Yamcha was attacked by Kinsey and Dispo, who used threads in the speed, But as soon as Dispo and Kinski finish their attack, they realize they attacked an after image. It's the Yamcha who's literally sitting on the strings comfortably, like, interesting, kind of fun. Pretty sturdy too. Interesting. Then Gas was Tupper. Tupper would try to jump on Gas and weigh him down, but Gas would just smirk as he's not weighed down. He's very strong physically. Well, strong overall, actually. So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to go strongest to weakest. Strongest, Piccolo, and then Gohan. Actually, no, Gohan, Piccolo, Goku, Vegeta, Yamcha, Gas. Yamcha's Kaioken evolved a lot. Well, again, Yamcha's tied with 16. Then there's Gas, 17, 18, and then Dende. I'm forgetting one person. I don't care right now. I'll go over it at the end. But yeah, so Tupper tries to weigh down Gas, but then Gas just gives him a wicked smirk, revealing how physically strong he is. And sturdy, actually, too. Makoto tries to enable portals, but he just smiles at her warmly. 18 just looks at Vawan and just says, whips. Oh, my husband uses those, and just smirks. Gohan and Zore stare down at each other, Zore creating a dozen tornadoes, and Gohan just looking unfazed. Kettle tries to show off energy balls to 17, who tries to shove them all in barriers, and crushes them. And 16 Piccolo, like a casserole, who had just thrown out a ton of smoke bombs. But the fights begin. Lou and Jiren both open one eye, and before anyone could even see them get up, they're both in the air, and their fists collide. They just jumped really high. Their fists collide, and immediately the world of Void shook. Goku smirked, entering Ultra Instinct Omen, and Jiren's body had grown more muscular, and his shirt had basically burned away with how hot his energy was. Simultaneously, Topo and Vegeta both clash blasts, and shut them both apart. Then Dispo and Kinsey try to find and attack Yamcha. Dispo even going in for like a justice kick. But Yamcha leaned back, raising his leg, and then his foot collided with Dispo's. And Dispo, his entire foot kinda... Basically imagine what an unmovable force does to someone running into it at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Or an immovable object having someone run into it at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Something happened with Dispo's leg and Yamcha's foot. So Dispo hit the ground, holding his very badly mangled leg. Yamcha would heal him before blasting him out of bounds. Kinsey just tried to bind Yamcha with the threads, but Yamcha showed off a glimpse of his full power, going into Kaioken Relentless Fury, and the energy burst has sent Kinsey flying. But then Yamcha would smirk, showing him how fast he really is now. And he could have done this in base form, but he wants to be even faster. As Kinsey's flying across the ring, Yamcha ran after him, hitting him over and over again. Even as he's falling, Yamcha teleported, hitting him over and over again while he's falling. But just as Yamcha was falling towards the out-of-bounds area, he is transmissioned right back into the ring. And then he'll laugh, saying, "Wow!" Sorry about that. But then I was like, "Wow, he hit him!" And then Dashigun he hit him so many times. Dashigun thought it was so funny, he pulled up a replay. Yamcha had hit Kinsey over 500 times, while in the span of about a few seconds. Yamcha didn't move that fast. He could have done that in base form. He just wanted to be mean. In the stands, Kinsey's covered in welts and bruises, and even Dispo is laughing, calling it hilarious. Now, on to Gas vs. Tupper. Tupper realizes that the Gas is pretty easily holding him up. He tries to go to his maximum weight, which does crush Gas. When he looked down and realized Gas wasn't there. Gas laughed as he appeared behind him in his particular state and said, "I'm not just strong, I'm fast." On punch, Tupper's shell is kind of just cracked and shattered. He bounces across the ring, and as he tries to hold on to the edge, he has to appear above him, and then ran from his horns right into Tupper's eye. Then he caught on, kind of punched into the ring and pulled himself up before he went out of bounds. His hand Tupper held on to his badly cracked and pierced eye, calling gas wild animal. And immediately, Dispo says, I don't know, wait, you plan on eating a guy from Universe 6. I don't know why you're surprised. Gas yells like, there's actually 2 guys. Dispo says, yeah, that's not better. You plan on eating 2 people in the middle of the fight. No, didn't Davis Kokoto. Her upgrade from the time chamber gave her the ability to create pocket realms, sure, but also portals. With this, she tried to, then they would fire just a key blast to gauge her abilities. With that one key blast, she teleported it through a portal and back at Dende. But it blew up in the air before it even reached him. He realizes how much control he had over his ki, and these are going to decide, saying, you're going to be kind of hard to fight. You're not strong, but you're tricky. Goro took offense to that, saying, well, I am very, never did you even say strong, she's need right in the face. And then they says, also gullible. And as she was sent flying, she bounced across the ring. She ruptured her bruised face, calling him a jerk for doing that. But he laughed, saying, sorry, it's the only way you wouldn't make a portal when I hit you. And he kind of says, you have so many options to make portals. You can make one as I attack you, something flying out of bounds, or make one beneath my feet. Then she did try that, only for him to pull himself up by getting his arms and holding himself over out of bounds, holding himself hovering above the out of bounds area. He shot himself in the air, and as he's in the air, he then let out one giant ki blast. This ki blast covered the entire area of the ring. But 17 would made it like a giant barrier along 16, and it covers up the fighters, so they don't have their fights interrupted. Koto just sighs, saying, of course. And then they would land thinking she was caught in a blast, until he's pushed from behind, and sent out of bounds. Koto smiled, saying, sorry, but I have a pocket realm too. When in the stand, then Dende isn't there. But then he appeared behind her and just said, pocket realms are handy, huh? She's wondering how he got in a pocket realm, only to be chopped him back in the neck and knocked out. He got right back in the ring and threw her out of bounds. And Shibito kind of laughed at this, trying to stifle just him dying laughing. Universe 11 Kai yelling at Shibito, who's just trying to just not laugh even harder. But then they kind of couldn't help but laugh as well, and Kokoto felt bad about that. Even Dispo was enjoying the show, laughing even harder. While Tupper is having his eye bandaged. Then on, he ended up trying to whip 18 with his key whips, but she quickly would just dodge. And in one kick, she would basically break his back. Everyone heard it snap. And he sent flying out of bounds. It wasn't really a hard attack for her to land. He's not very fast. Zoro would create dozens of tornadoes, trying to send them all at Universe 7. But Gohan would just bulk up, using size control, and then he basically blows out as much air as he can, and pushing the tornadoes right into Zoro. Zoro tries to beg for him to stop them as he's being thrown around. And he then says, stop them, someone stop them before I... They don't know what he says, but all they see is the tornadoes all turn a very weird shade of brown, and the room smells like food. Or at least the ring does. Bad food, though. Rancid food. Gwump looked his nose, charged up a special beam cannon, and launched it, dispersing the tornadoes, and sending his way out of bounds, covered in his own oral excrement. This one just says, do not come near me. And Zoro just lays down in shame. Now, Kettle has energy bombs and energy balls, and they did try to fire them all at 17, but with one hand, he would just use barriers, well, a lot of barriers, and basically entrap the key balls. This did surprise Kettle, who tried to create more, but 17 would raise another finger. He used one finger to create the barriers. The second finger covered up the rest of the energy bombs. 17 says, I have 10 fingers. I can keep going, but I don't think you have that much ki. Kettle was a bit nervous, trying to like fire off more energy balls, but then with his two fingers extended, he would wave all of the barriers right into Kettle, and it looked like a nuke went off as soon as everything hit Kettle. At a bound, there's Kettle, just cooked. Kettle just says, "I'm not doing that attack again," and they just sigh, rolling over, lying next to the dirty Zorre in shame. Now, this is 16 Piccolo fighting Casserole, as he does try to, use smoke bombs, energy blasts, all that. But at some point he would use a key saber, and no smoke bomb. He does attack Piccolo. Piccolo thought he could pretty easily avoid it, or just avoid his attack, and unknowing is a saber. His dodge back, he then realizes he was cut in half. Everyone realized Piccolo was cut in half, but he pretty quickly healed, and pulled him into a hug, and just told 16, blow us both up. I want to see if you can survive that. Because Piccolo's very much pissed off. He doesn't really care if he kills anyone or not. He'd be disqualified. That's about it. His finger opens up, fire off like a small little bit of key, and the 17 would hold up like one barrier covering everyone, and the blast was so devastating it blew up the entire part of that ring, like the one that's not barriered. The stands were Casserole and Piccolo, and Piccolo's body is totally healing, while Casserole is basically just a corpse. Well, kind of. He's dying. Piccolo says, "Now how do you like it?" And just sighs, a bit annoyed. But he just doesn't mind that he's disqualified. And we have Beerus dying laughing, moving Piccolo's back as he laughs so hard. And Casserole was healed by the Angel of Universe 11 before he actually did die. Now, final fight is Goku versus Jiren. And as they fight, well, not final fight, but one of the final fights, Goku versus Jiren. That's the next one after Vegeta versus Topo. But Goku and Jiren fight, and they're fighting blow for blow. Jiren, at his, he just calls it Amplified Jiren. And Goku and Ultra Instinct Omen. As they clash fists, Jiren is realizing that Goku isn't really trying. Jiren giving it not his all, but using a lot of power. Jiren didn't like that. He wasn't the only one holding back. He's not used to that. He roared, going to his limit breaker form, burning out 200% of his power. Not 100, 200. He has to see if Goku can dodge this, as he did Blitz Goku. As his fist was about a few centimeters away from Goku's face, his hair turned completely white, and he vanished right behind Jiren. Or vanished and appeared right behind Jiren. Jiren would immediately see Goku, only Goku's fist hit his face well over 200 times in that split second. Meanwhile, back holding his bloody nose, and a bit of his mangled, battered jaw. Jiren tried to attack one more time, but Goku waved his hand, and with that one motion, a blast was fired at him, and it hit him right in the chest, cutting him deeply. Jiren fell back, holding his chest, but then Goku would hold up Kamehameha to his face and launch it. Jiren isn't killed by it, but it blew apart the ring he's standing on, and he falls through it, falling out of bounds. Topo, he's surrounded by first he's surrounded by Ultra Instinct Vegeta, Ultra Ego Vegeta, and surrounded by everyone else. This does make Topo back up a little bit, but he goes all out and tries to Hakai the entire ring. But when he tried that though, Vegeta would split in the way, and Topo's Hakai dispersed. It didn't work on Vegeta. Not because he's a destroyer, or he can destroy energy too, it's because his body is too strong. Topo's Hakai is too weak to Hakai Vegeta. Vegeta smirked one uppercut, he sent Topo flying through the air. So his hand launching a brush of invisible blasts, that all sent Topo, not invisible, but shockwaves, that proceed to basically just make Topo's body react in different ways. As he falls, he would jump in the air, begin spinning, and then with a dual dropping to the chest, he will cough the blood, and he's knocked clean out of his destroyer form. Then flying in out of bounds, and Universe 7 wins, and they wish back to their universes. Now, this next arc should be the Broly movie, but Broly already lives on Earth with Paragus. So, we go on to the Moro arc now. Now, or the arc starts with Grand Supreme Kai. He trains a lot of the other Kais, constantly, because they're all strong. Plus, Shin, or Shibito and Shibito Shin, they're Z fighters, like they're avid fighters, like they train a lot. Even not supposed to intervene, what they really just do for fights is that they do a bit of damage and they leave. Kind of about it. It's kind of what they did for Resurrection F. Is they just did a bit of damage to Cell, then they left. So with this, we came to Moro. Two things can happen for Grand Supreme Kai. He could have subdued Moro to the point where he never escaped. Ask Beerus or Vegeta to Kai, and Beerus and Vegeta can one-shot Moro with a Kai. Lay him on his own and likely win. Or ask the Z Fighters to use Shenron to erase him. But either way, Moro is likely dead, not just in prison. He's likely dead. But before he does, Moro had a plan. When Grand Supreme Kai returned, he already knew he was never getting out of, prison. At least not getting out alive. So with this, he began using telepathy, enhancing it over time. Using memories and transporting them to a certain inmate, 7-3. Using telepathy, Moro's feeding him abilities, feeding him memories of how strong people are. One guy can be as strong as maybe maybe 10 men. But when Moro beams in his memories, he's 7-3 is the memories of the training, but also gets the benefits from it. His body reacts to the memories as if he went through it. He did that for years. When Moro canonically escapes, 7-3, before that, Moro had already been dead. But Moro's final gift to him was his memories, before he actually died. But also a bit of the Grand Supreme Kai's memories, which includes Buu. Grand Supreme Kai, he wouldn't be confused with his head, thinking Moro was trying to spare his own life, but not realizing that Moro being two memories into 7-3's head at once. And when 7-3 and Moro canonically escape, or when Moro canonically escapes, 7-3 does instead, but what he does, instead he would just roar using Kid Buu's ability, Gap, or the Scream. And with that, he opened up portals all throughout the prison, until the prison basically blown apart through the Scream. 7-3 flew off into space at top speeds. Now, 7-3 would teleport around space, using some of Moro's abilities and Grand Supreme Kai's. When he went to the location he knew the Z-Fighters went to, as with Grand Supreme Kai's memories, he didn't know the Z-Fighters personally, but he knew they were all, he knew they were the strongest warriors the universe has ever seen. So, with this he teleported throughout the universe and got some knowledge on the Z-Fighters, the Dragon Team, and went to planets they've previously been to. Went to Yardrat, beat Barbara, took all his power. Then Cereal, getting power from Naito and Granola. Power from Naito just to use his own Dragon Balls. He's going to create his own Dragon Balls. This is his plan now. But after getting him a key, he would use his sensory abilities that have been fine-tuned to teleport to Otherworld. Otherworld, he took around taking keys from random fighters, including the Frost Demons, and Cell, and a lot of others. But they're not dead, they're in Whisa's staff. So, who do you take energy from? Oh yeah, I get it. The Ogres, the Onis, the Angels, King Kai, or the various Kais. Eventually, before Yamcha, Chaozu, and Kakarot are aware of this, as soon as they get a message about that they're being attacked, Yamcha would open his eyes, and from above him he would see 7-3. Before he can react, he's punched right in the face, full force, and then 7-3 would charge his fist with Ki and detonate it, knocking Yamcha out cold right then and there. And he did the same thing with Chaozu simultaneously. Black Yamcha jumped up to attack, but immediately he's grabbed by the neck and his Ki's being drained by 7-3. And eventually he's dropped and he's unconscious. Now 7-3 tried to escape, but from behind he's punched right in the back by Yamcha, and 7-3 felt like he was going to die from that punch. 7-3 tried to counter, but Yamcha began wailing on him with really no effort at all. But eventually 7-3 would smirk, getting all the data he needs from Yamcha, grabbing his arm, grabbing by the neck. Before he would basically be copying all Yamcha's abilities, then win in Kaioken Unrelenting Fury, and then beat Yamcha into the dirt. For the first time in a while, Yamcha has lost. 7-3 disperses Kaioken and would teleport away before Goku and other Z fighters could arrive. But eventually teleport basically the edge of the universe, like one of the opposite edges away from Beerus' planet, all that. And he would begin using his abilities copied from Naito and a few other fodder characters to create his own Dragon Balls, or his own Dragon Ball, and had 3 wishes. First wish is to give me a copy of every Dragon Team member, a copy of the abilities of every Dragon Team member. That includes Goku, Roshi, Oolong, Puar, already has Yantra, Krillin, Korin, Tien, already has Chiaotzu 2, and Pikkon, Kami, Piccolo, and Dende, Gohan, Vegeta, Future Trunks, 16, 17, 18, Goten, Trunks, Gotenks, Videl, Shibito, Kibito Shin, Grand Supreme Kai, and every Directional Kai, Broly, Paragus, Gas, Maki, Oil, Granola, Monito. And that is just the Dragon Team. There's more more characters he took key from, and abilities. It's about to begin cracking immediately with like a rainbow aura emitting from it. A second wish is to give me a body that can handle all these abilities and techniques. And the wish was granted. But that ended up taking up 2 wishes. But good thing, before he left Monito, he took a present with him. 2 Dragon Balls. Now, the abilities that 7-3 has or it's the forms. He copied Ultra. He can copy other abilities too. He would have Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego, Beast, Ultra Triclops from Tien, Maximus Power from Krillin, Orange Piccolo, Orange Dende. As Dende's orange is a bit different, but not too much, but it's enough to have his own form. Kaioken, basically unlimited. Berserker mode, but from Broly, not from Broly, but from Gas. Ability to target pressure points, but then Super Saiyan 1 through 3. Well, he doesn't have hair, so Super Saiyan in general. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Rage, and Legendary Super Saiyan. And Super Saiyan Kaioken stacked. Well, he then defeated the rest of the Zamasu Dragon Balls, and then wishes for the Z Warriors to be brought to him. And the Z Warriors, as they're summoned, are a bit confused. But as they look around, they end up seeing 7-3, but in the blink of an eye, he created so many clones of himself where they cover the planet they're on. All the clones do. They'll go on, Piccolo, Dende, 17-18, immediately have their bearings, and they'll try to keep less of their own accord. So see using 17 using barriers to cover up the Dragon Team who were still kind of recovering from being teleported here. Also with their blasts and attacks, sending the clones flying away, giving them some room to breathe. But Gas and Broly have the bearings next. Broly going into a Super Saiyan form, Gas going into his Berserker state, and they charge through, running through all the clones as much as they can. Ripping the shreds without a second thought. But as soon as Gas had punched through one of them, he realized he was regrowing. His body was regenerating. Then Thrick smirked and just said, Namekians have a weird and unique regeneration, especially Piccolo. Piccolo of course scoffed by seeing what happened, but also the clones are healing each other, making their regeneration even faster. But Trunks would eventually punch through one of the 7-3s. As he healed, Trunks yelled, "It's like they're fucking zombies!" Vegeta would backhand him, but he agrees. Piccolo has an idea and just yells, "Create as many clones as you can." Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Dende, Gohan, Goten, Trunks, Videl, Shibito, a few others, all create as many clones as they can, covering up the entire planet, but the planet's kind of overflowing with people. But with this, immediately 17 was able to find all the actual Z fighters, but he could pretty easily actually. And he would cover all the barriers as they all Kai out of there. Well, not all of them Kai, but they're able to be Kai away as quick as some of the others leave. They'll land on the realm of the Kais, and a lot of them are beaten up. Beerus will appear before them, and Beerus, this information from Vegeta, just says, "Explain the power surge, or I will Hakai you myself." What is that power? Vegeta explained, And Whis is observing 773 using the far-seeing arts, but also covering up Beerus' planet. And Whis says, "Oh my, little Beerus, you mean to step in yourself? His power is growing exponentially thanks to our friends Broly and Gohan here. Body seems to have been made sturdier than anyone here. In fact, he even punched through it. Even Broly would need years of training to punch through this thing, and Earth's time chamber is not enough to do so. Enough time, if you would." Beerus asks why, and Beerus simply says, "Because that's not going to work before he destroys every galaxy on his way to Earth, or to the Milky Way." With this, Beerus sighs, for rubbing his head, saying, "Wait, I'm going to Earth for an afternoon." Vegeta. He'll hand out transporting Suraki into Vegeta, but also Gas and 17. He says, "You three, and Goku and Yamcha, go stall. Whis, Broly, Gohan. The two other androids, 18 and 16. But also, he calls upon Dende, Piccolo, and the Kais. Come with me." As they get to Earth immediately we end up seeing Beerus walking in the time chamber with Broly, Gohan, 16, 18. And Dende is confused on what Beerus wants, but he pulls an Elder Kai to the time chamber and tells Dende, "Don't stop upgrading it." That goes for the Kais too. They would use Shenron to follow the orders, and for about 3 hours they upgrade the time chamber repeatedly. And Whis is inside helping them train, but also helping them start the structural integrity not crumble. And that's why Grand Supreme Kai is also here to maintain it. Elder Kai on the inside had also performed the ritual on 18, while 16's body is initially adapted to Beerus, 18, Broly, and Ultimate 18, and Gohan. 16 is here to continuously adapt, 18 is here to grow, Gohan is here to just grow as well, and Broly is here for control. Now, the previous group just saw 7-3, was using identical moves and easily evaded them. But they're all using unique abilities, so they're all able to keep up with him for enough just enough time to stall for Beerus' arrival. Beerus had emerged from Time Chamber after 3 hours. And he says, "Alright, okay, dummies, let's go." Beerus is no longer a scrawny cat, but in fact his body had been filled out. His frame had a decent amount of muscle on it, and his body was very much proportionate with his muscle. He wasn't even wearing any traditional short garbs anymore. He was simply wearing basic pants, and that's about it. Now, Whis to question his clothing choice now. He's told Whis, "This is not a job for a destroyer, this is a job for a warrior." Also, Whis, go on, taught me a trick. Kai. Vanished, and Whis just laughed, as he did the same thing. As did Gohan. Broly had to be carried away by Gohan, but 18 and 16 could do it on their own. Now they arrive on a desolate planet, a planet that's as big as the sun. This planet was intentional by Goku, but with this, we see the Beerus team arrive. Broly was another Super Saiyan, Gohan was in Beast, but his eyes were pure white, with his aura being vicious with his presence, and flowing like an angry river. Goku's body had grown a bit, being a tad bit toned and a bit taller, kind of like Kefla, but way stronger. They seemed a bit more robotic, with a half-silver face, and a half-silver hand, well, not half-silver, but fully silver hand. But they could tell his body was still a lot more, humanoid, quote-unquote. But when they arrived, Beerus had seen a 7-3 training the planet, as Goku, Vegeta, Yamcha, Gas, and 17 were all on the ground, and they were being drained as well. Now 7-3 was about to basically kill Goku as he was a big threat to him, because of just how fast he was growing, until he's met with a kick to the face from Legend Super Saiyan Broly. As he was sent flying, 7-3 was to steady himself, then from above, 2 elbows slamming to his back. Gohan and 18. And he easily hopped up after this, but he realized his body had a small crack. A little tiny one, but it wasn't noticeable, to them at least. He made clones to try to match the number of fighters, but in 16 would shoot out wires. Those wires can shoot out giant robots. Those robots began fighting the clone 7-3 made. But then he realized the wires didn't vanish. In fact, they traveled somewhere else. He didn't know where from, or where to, but they were somewhere. But he was too distracted. Beerus had stepped in now. Now, as they began fighting, 7-3 realized the clones he had made, and kept making, those were the wires were going. 17 had even smirked at this, as he's the one helping them get restrained, as he's holding them with a Kai, or just God King in general, and using a Kai if they ever to escape. But 16 was now draining all their ki, draining 7-3, or at least partially some of his ki. Then 7-3 realized why 16 was doing this. More wires pumped into Z fighters, the ones that were here. He was giving them back their own power, but as soon as they got 100%, the power was overflowing in their bodies. Their power was being amplified. Beerus had grabbed on the wire, shoving it right into his head, and said, "Good. The destroyer energy is going back to the right source." He smirked as his body completely enveloped in a purple aura, crackling with black lightning. Beerus had inhaled before letting out a loud roar. Despite being a cat, this roar was one of a lion. It shook the universe, and even Universe 6. That was how strong he had grown. Beerus had roared as he got into his power, saying, "It's the perfect blend of Ultra Instinct and Hakai Shin energy." But then to a shock, Goku and Vegeta had jumped up in front of him and yelled, "Takes this one too." And as if on cue, they performed the fusion dance effortlessly, going into Vegito. Broly didn't even say a word. He walked up beside Beerus, and Beerus had noticed his aura. He had changed his body. Well, his body was overflowing with Legendary Super Saiyan Ki, as 7-3 had a lot of it, and Broly got it back. In fact, he got more than enough back. His ki had dyed his skin color. His skin was contrasted. Instead of it being kind of just tannish, no, his skin had turned like Vantage black. Then his definition was white, kind of like a drawing. But then his hair was a bright neon green, and when he exhaled, it emitted a green miasma. And his face looked feral, like a wild animal. And Beerus was amazed by his power. It was unique. One that rivaled his. Although in Gohan, he had dropped that beast form seemingly. But his hair, his attire was just the same. Glasses was orange, purple gi, and shoulder pads. But his skin glowed a little bit. It was unique, like it was ultimate, but his ki wasn't sensed. It was just Gohan. The only evidence he's here is the fact that he's standing there, which should confuse everyone. Gas was in his berserker state, but on his chest were kanji that red Hakai. 17 was very similar, but as kanji on his chest read Hakai, his shoulders had red 17. Everyone roared and powered up, and Beerus landed an uppercut on 7-3 that cracked his face. Everyone had seen this crack. And a rainbowish aura emitted from the crack, but it began healing slowly, but very slowly. Now 7-3 tried to attack Beerus back, but then Broly jumped in, and with an axe kick landed on 7-3's back, a major crack had formed. And as soon as 7-3 hit the ground with the axe kick, immediately everyone felt the planet shake, and then heard a brief explosion. On the other end of the planet, Broly's kick had blown it up. No, not there's rubble left. No, the kick had basically imploded it. It vaporized it. There's nothing left of it. It was as if the planet was cut clean in half. And Broly wasn't even trying to do that. He was just landing a kick. Now, Vegeta, Hakai 17 and 16, and Maximized Kaioken Yamcha His Yamcha's Kaioken had now evolved, point where he can just say Kaioken, but no one will ever know he's in it. This is his strongest form of Kaioken, just saying it, and now it works at its maximum capacity. But his ki, when he does Fire Blast, it's bright red, the point where it basically melts anything it touches. And like a Kai, just a lot more painful, like very much more painful. And also not as strong, but still kind of functions very similarly. Now, their fists raised, as then a giant purple orb had been forming, but then it had a white aura, then multiple colors had been mixing until it was a rainbow. This rainbow ball seemed to solidify, or orb seemed to solidify, until an actual ball. But they kept feeding it ki. Then it had a variety of auras: red, purple, silver, white. At the same time, their auras began emitting to the planet, creating a massive dragon out of it. And where they were is where the dragon's head was. The universe had radiated. It was light. It even pierced into Universe 6. Vados even covered her eyes from how bright it suddenly was. Where it was darkness, it was now, well, blinding light. Probably Vados and even the Universe 6 warriors had gone with them. Even Zenon and his guards couldn't see what the brightness was about. Some tried to charge the group, but then when he took a step even remotely near them, 18 landed a punch that solidified how weakened 7-3 had become. And as the punch to the face, the crack got bigger. On his back, it extended. And 18's punch punched apart his shoulder. Well, not punched his shoulder, but punched apart his midsection. And the crack went up his shoulder now, his arm barely hanging on. His damage was slowly healing, but there's so much damage accumulating to the point where he couldn't control what was happening to his body now. Now he did try to leap forward one more time, until wires wrapped around the planet. This continues to do it, but he didn't know what was happening. Is he draining it? So he felt the piercing pain. He looked down and realized 17 had shot a Kai blast at him. 17 may have been sidetracked, not occupied, but he was still able to help. The Kai blast was in the form of a barrier. It held his feet in place while simultaneously destroying them as he tried to move. All he had to do was stay still, or else he needs to slowly disintegrate. He didn't think he could possibly get out of it by just powering up. And even when he did try that, his cracks seemed to grow bigger. But he was first the Kai. But then, wires had shot through the planet and into his feet, holding him down by force. He yelled in pain as rainbow aura seeped up from his feet, and then he realized 16 was draining him. But the rather large rainbow orb had then now turned into a single ball of light that illuminated every universe. It illuminated the Dragon Ball series. That Gogeta was the one to now wield it, and then he punched it right at 7-3. Beerus putting out his hand to turn the dragon now purple. Immediately, the guy was just watching this, had just snapped and glasses appeared on everyone's faces. And then the dragon had slammed into 7-3. And everyone had yelled as they flowed their ki into Gogeta, kind of like a spirit bomb now ability thing. And they called it Stardust Eraser. And the attack hit 7-3, and it hit him. The universe around, or the barrier, at least holding Universe 7, had shattered. The universe was erasing itself. But at least 7-3 was now gone. Vegeta had slumped back down, shooting into just Goku and Vegeta, but they were panting, exhausted. Beerus had looked around, kind of realizing what damage they had done. Their universe is just out in the open. It's closing in on itself. But to his shock, the Shingun flew down in front of him and just said, "Why should I let your universe crumble, Beerus? You clearly lack control over your job. I have most of a thought to just relocate your Kais and let you and your mortals die. Maybe even killing Whis for allowing this." Beerus wants to argue back, kind of just trying to be nice. But then he's pushed out of the way, Beerus is, by Champa. Everyone yelled, not Beerus, but at Shinkansen. Now wait a second, you wine-aged toddler. My brother may be an ass and lazy, but he's proven power beyond any destroyer. What we do is destroy, and as far as I'm concerned, this is the peak example of his job. Goes hands out, showing off the destroyed universe. We even take this a step further by pointing his finger into Shinkan's face. Everyone wasn't shocked enough. Even Whis was like his jaw was on the floor watching this. And Beerus was just like kind of in the fetal position, wondering if Champa was going to die or not. Shinkan's eyes were a bit widened, like, oh, I'm being yelled at. Califa would jump in and say, "What the fat cat said? People in this universe are as strong or as any good as all your destroyers combined. You don't decide their fate because you manage over them. It's up to Zeno. He's your boss. He should decide who's going to be erased and who should die." Zeno laughed, flying down to them, and Califa was a bit nervous, as is Champa. But then Champa's ear is grabbed, Califa's hair is grabbed, and their heads are slammed together. They're both knocked out immediately. But Zeno laughed, saying, "Ah, you got all my angels, kind of funny. But don't do it again. I'll make sure nobody thinks you ever existed. But you guys are right. I decide. Whis, you can fix it." Whis exhaled softly as he raised his staff, fully rewinding time, but not on him. The barrier around him, around everyone, was kind of preventing time from being affected. As 17 created it, hoping to prevent them from being collapsed in on. So luckily enough, Whis just wanted time, and just enough so the universe had been fixed. His inventory was not brought back. Whis made sure of that. We fast forward 1 year later. The superhero movie had occurred, but Goten and Trunks handled it pretty easily, plus Cell Max does not exist. Yeah, Cell Max was any version of Cell that exists. Whis would want it to put it back in his staff to fight other Cell, because his fun watching everyone in his staff fight. So even if Cell Max existed, Whis would just appear saying, hey, excuse me, boys. Grabs Cell Max and vanishes. And yeah, when it came down to Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, Goten and Trunks can both handle that fight. They're strong enough to do so at this point. Or Gohan can handle it, and he just one-shot them both with just his base state. Gohan's new form is not even just Beast or Ultimate. He just calls it Gohan. There's no aura, anything. It is just his usual state. But it's all his forms fused into one to, well, make him Gohan. And it has made Gohan basically stronger than every destroyer around right now, including Beerus. In fact, most of the Z Fighters had surpassed, not most, but a lot of them had surpassed Beerus. The ones who surpassed him would include, let me find, just so I don't, Goku, Piccolo, Gohan, Vegeta, Future Trunks, 16, 17, 18, Broly, Gas, and as much as you guys don't want me to say this, Yamcha is definitely in the running of surpassing Beerus. You guys are wondering why. Yeah, it's the point where his body just now multiplies its power passively to how much he's mastered Kaioken. Like, his body just grows and multiplies every day, because he trains every day. And Kaioken is now just a passive effect on his body, kind of like how Gohan's forms are now fused into his base state. So yeah. But Gohan's definitely the strongest person around right now, to the point where he can fight every destroyer at once, and win with minimal injuries. That's just how strong he is now. Now, we go to Earth, a full year later. Goku was in bed snoring with Chi-Chi, his body riddled with scars. Burn marks, fist imprints, knife wounds, or seemingly knife wounds, seemingly slash wounds, and you name a wound, it's there. The scar, which was impaled by Moro, given to him by Piccolo. The key blast through his chest, Piccolo. Sword wound, Gohan. Keyblade. His back, a giant scar, something from a giant burn. That was Dende. His arms covered in scars. That was from him helping train Khalifa and Kale. As he snores, suddenly he walks in, and a tail wrapped around his neck, and came out of bed. Goku just groans obnoxiously, saying, "She'll be back in a few days," as he just sighs, annoyed. While Beerus yells at him, Saiyan, wake up! We have a training session with my brother and his bunch of dumbass warriors. They think you're on the same level as them still. And I'm heading to Champa's world, and in a barrier would be Boy Whis and Vados, rating a match between Beerus and Champa and the Kais, actually, because all the Kais had gone into shape. Meanwhile, Granola and Gohan train with Hit. Granola learning time skip for himself, and Gohan actually kind of training them both. By how old Hit is, Gohan is far stronger, much more skilled. We see everything that Hit has, Gohan is better at, no matter how old he is. Then Broly and Gas, they're training with Kale, as they're both berserkers. All three of them are. By the way, Broly say that he used against 7-3. He's too busy teaching that to Kale, hoping she can awaken that form. Goku and Vegeta train with Kaba and Khalifa. And Kaba kind of laughs as Vegeta tells the tale of how Kaba first met, and Khalifa laughs and, wait, seriously, he broke your neck when you guys first met? He says, yeah, and I swear, I thought I died. He says, yeah, because you did, for a moment, but I kind of brought you back immediately. In the corner, we see Krillin laughing and snickering down as Frost, who just yells, "Get away from me, you monster!" Trying to escape from Krillin, who grabs him by the tail and drags him over to Yamcha. As Yamcha and Chaozu both laugh, saying, "We miss beating up Frost demons. We still doesn't let us in the staff anymore after we traumatized Cell Max." Meanwhile, 16, 17, 18, Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and a recovered brainwashed clone of 7-3 all train together. 16 created replicas at every film from the Dragon Team, all the way from the Bear Bandit in OG Dragon Ball, all the way to 7-3 a year ago. And they train against those. Goten and Trunks, sometimes Gotenks, and Pan as well, trained with Botamo and Magetta. Piccolo tutors Salnel and Polina, along with Dende, occasionally chiming in. Krillin and Tien, they use Frost as a punching bag, along with, well, Yamcha and Chaozu. But this ends the story. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more. Adios.